Hello and welcome to the Paritutu Bowling Club here in New Plymouth for this year's Region 4 Intercentre Bowls Playoff Competition. Representative men's and women's teams from Taranaki, Kapiti Coast, Wanganui and Wellington will compete in singles, pairs and fours events. Our coverage today will include the women's pairs between Wanganui and Kapiti Coast, which is due to commence very shortly. This will be followed by the men's singles, set down to start around 12:25 p.m. between Taranaki and Wellington. And finally this afternoon around 3:30 we will cover the men's fours between Wanganui and Wellington. This is the first year that the regional intercentre playoffs have been live streamed, which will also include the South Islands Region 6, which are having their events live streamed today as well. My name is Kevin Galeto and my co-host for the competitions today is Brendan Walton. Welcome to the live stream, Brendan.
Yeah, thanks Kevin, certainly good to be here. Another sunny day here at Paritutu Bowling Club. Just a gentle breeze going across the green today. That's keeping the temperature down a little bit. It's quite fresh this morning, but we expect that to clear off and it's going to be another beautiful day here in Taranaki.
And so our first competition game today is the Wanganui team playing the Kapiti Coast team in the women's pairs. Can you indicate who is playing in the pairs and the conditions of play, Brendan?
So the Wanganui side playing in the darker blue kit is skipped by Eleni Mali Maris, I did practice that, and Moana Mea, who is a substitute player in the side as they've had a isolation from one of their players, have had to withdraw. The Kapiti playing in the white shirts, skipping that side today is Dot Bellis, and her lead is Eileen Jones.
And the conditions of play, they play 3 bowls each person, and there are 18 ends and no time limit. It's 2 3/4 hours. At the completion of 2 3/4 hours or 18 ends will determine the winner of these games.
Yeah, so we're doing coverage here in the first end of play. The Kapiti Coast skip Dot just drawing the shot there.
The Wanganui skip, Elena Momaris.
So yeah, first bowls of the end. They'll be looking to sort of work out the green a little bit. It's playing quite quick. I haven't actually timed it yet. I must do that. But certainly most teams were here last night or yesterday evening having a practice session. They're actually playing the opposite way. But the green's playing pretty well at the moment. It's a true credit to our greenkeeping staff here. We've got a team of 4 or 5 now, headed by Mike Walsh. And they do an excellent job here making sure these greens are up to top standard all the time for the various events that we host here throughout the year.
So it's Dot Collins, the experienced Kapiti Coast skip. She's put down her second bowl of this end.
Just getting caught out a bit wide. It's quite common on this rink. If you get outside, sort of just a little bit outside the boundary of the rink, indicated by the boundary pegs there, that your bowl will tend to hold. Especially with the breeze coming the way it is. It's coming off the mountain this morning. So it kind of pushes into the bank a little bit. We're sitting up here on the terraces. So the bowls do tend to hold just that little bit more with that breeze. It doesn't help you draw in. They'll certainly notice that the backhand as Eleni playing now will hook a little bit more at the end as that breeze helps it finish into the head.
As we watch the bowl coming down into the head, it looks a pretty good controlled delivery.
Just a little bit over the weight. And
just I think a little bit too much weight.
I think you'll find that early on in the game as players are finding their groove. The green speeds are quite quick. We heard some of the comments from players yesterday evening as they were coming in and enjoying a bit of the meal the club put on, that the greens were finishing very well, and it was a bit different to some of the conditions they were perhaps used to at home. So as players start to find their groove and get that rhythm of the green, you might see a few ends where the bowls have past the head.
Well, these are very, very, well-prepared greens in the Paritutu Club, as you said earlier. And I think some of these players will be pleased to play on these greens because they are some of the best in the country.
Yeah, certainly a privilege, and I think a lot of Taranaki players take for granted just how good our greens are. It's not until you really get to travel around the country you sort of understand that the greens do vary, and we're extremely lucky here in Taranaki to have some of the best. Again, Eleni just struggling to find the correct weight, running through to the back of the head. You see all 3 of her bowls there They've gone a good 1.5 meters past the jack on this first end.
And it's time to get down and have a measure. The Cavity Coast lead is on the measuring at the moment, checking her bowl against the Wanganui bowl to decide who will be the leader in the first end.
That purple bowl definitely beating the orange bowl, sorry. So 2 shots to the Wanganui side on the first end of 18. As the players kick the bowls back, we'll wait for them, and Wanganui will take control of the length with the jack. Moana Mea. I think certainly in the early stages, given the tactic will be to play a slightly longer length jack and sort of get a feel for that green and how it's turning, and then perhaps as the game progresses, sort of play a bit more of a tactical length.
Yeah, I certainly agree. It's pretty common to have a longer end to establish yourself in the game of bowls, so you can get your correct line and weight. And it appears as though this is happening now. The kitty is being brought down pretty close to the 2 metre line where it will rest.
Yeah,
so they're definitely going for a long end in the second end of this game.
Yeah, very well thrown jack, sort of bang on the 2 metre mark, didn't overthrow it at all. And that'll give her good confidence playing in with her first bowl to sort of have a good feel for the weight on drawing the shot.
So it's Moana Mea, soon to deliver her first bowl in the second end of this match. Playing with a red bowl. She's chosen the forehand.
She's taken a pretty good line for most bowls. It sort of gets just outside that boundary peg. You'll see it cut away quite viciously at the end there. She's actually come up a little bit narrow on this occasion.
Yes, she has, and it's actually rolled past, 2 or 3 metres, so it does indicate that the greens are running very quick and slick, and that's something they will get to adjust to as the game wears on.
Eileen, the lead there for Kapiti, now delivering her first bowl of the second end. Slightly tighter line than the opposition bowl, and again you'll see it's going to cut away, so it's just the players having to really focus on that mental side of the game to take a little bit more green than perhaps they would be used to, especially with that breeze. It's quite a prominent breeze. We look across from our commentary position to the 2 flags up on the corner of the green, and they're sort of standing at attention fairly well. It's not blowing a gale, but certainly enough to make an impact on the bowls.
Moana Mea putting down her second bowl as the lead for the Wanganui team. She has taken a wider arc this time with her second bowl, trying to get the correct weight as it comes towards the kitty, but it's just going to fall up short, about 1.5 metres.
Yeah, hasn't quite found the centre line, but I think she'll be pretty happy with that. She's made a good correction, and it's just a subtle correction from that point to find the jack now. So slowly getting her eye into where she needs to be.
This time it's the turn of Ellen Jones, the lead for the Kapiti team. She also got a small touch of the kitty there, which indicates she was racing it a little bit too heavy, but at the moment it would appear that the Wanganui player would have the shot.
Yeah, just an unfortunate result there, an inch the other way, and she could have trailed that jack clean and had 2 shots. So obviously not the ideal sort of intended situation to move the jack at this stage in the end, but nonetheless, those are the lucks you get in bowls sometimes.
The third bowl from Moana Mea is coming down now. She has taken a nice arc. The kitty has been moved, and she's adjusted well for that as the ball comes through to land. Yeah, pretty good result that, I'd imagine, for her team.
Yeah, that's a great shot. She's definitely found her line. She's got confidence in taking that green, which catches a lot of players who are new to Paritutu out. You've really got to throw that bowl out there more than you think, and it'll always come back. Again, not quite finding the line of the jack, but Still a very good shot nonetheless, and a great position for the skip to either build on that or come up the other way and trail the jack closer.
Not too sure Elaine Jones would be happy with this bowl. It's just a little bit narrow, pushing forward the Wanganui bowl.
Yeah, she's come up with a lucky result there, sitting at the opposition bowl. She's given herself a chance to be in the head, but as you say, Kevin, probably not the shot she was quite intending to play. So as the players cross over, it appears to be 2 shots to the Wanganui side at this stage.
It's now the turn of the skips to see if they can add, convert, or just break up the head. They've got plenty of options here. There's plenty of room to draw in as Dot Collis, I beg your pardon, Eleni Mamaris from Wanganui puts down her first bowl.
And I think the players will be caught out a little bit coming this way. This is a bit of inside knowledge from a local club member here. When you're playing back this way, we mentioned the first end, how the bowl stayed quite tight. Coming back this way, it kind of does the opposite. You see there that bowl borderline finding the boundary line, I think. They actually tend to turn a little bit more coming this way. So that's something, again, the players are going to have to learn and pick up on as the game progresses. And it's going to be very difficult to do that, given that the jack is off the centre line and they're trying to play under the centre line on this occasion.
Yeah, they do need to quickly assess the speed of the green and, of course, the length and weight to get on the bowl to ensure it comes back to the centre line. And as you see already, there's 1 or 2 bowls that have gone directly across the centre line over the head, so they're just taking their time to adjust to the speed of the green at the moment.
Pretty well weighted there by Dot, really, just missing the line on this occasion, so that'll give her some confidence moving into her second shot, no doubt. Yeah, definitely looked a better line out of the hand this time for Eleni. She's tracking pretty well here. If her speed's in the area, she's going to definitely have a counter, I would say. Dropping into the head now. Might just be a little quick. No, that's the shot itself. Great bowl there from the
definitely
Wanganui
a very good bowl there on her backhand. She judged the weight and the speed correctly. Dot Collis now the experienced skip for the Kapiti team to try and do her best for her team on the forehand here as the yellow bowl comes down.
Just needs to break under that purple bowl. Bit of a feather perhaps.
And a great response from the experienced skip there, Dot Collis.
And it
probably
falls in. That could now be the shot.
It's fallen down flat on its belly, and it's more than likely going to be the shot. Well done, Dot Collis, for your team.
You see the direction there from Moana to her skip, to sort of similar bowl to her last, but with a bit more intent to sit that bowl out. Whether it's the shot or not, it's still a very good shot selection to play. If Eleni can roll that bowl out, get 3 or 4 shots back into the count, even if she sat it there for 2.
And she has got a bit of speed on this bowl, which is exactly what you suggested was going to happen there, Brendan, and she certainly took out the shot bowl. So an excellent response from the skip there from the Wanganui side, Eleni Mamaris.
Yeah, Wanganui probably holding at least 3 or 4 shots on the head now, so big pressure bowl here from Dot to repeat her last and draw another shot in the head. Looks to be a bit too wide this time, I think, Kevin.
It certainly appears wide at this stage, and it's going to probably rest outside the Wanganui bowls, which is not what she was wanting. She needed to be inside that, close to the jack. In fact, it's rolled into the ditch, so she's struggling a little bit just with the weight control. So currently, as you can see on the screen, there is 3 definite shots for the Wanganui team, and more than likely 4.
I think it's 4. The 2 rainbow bowls would be the next closest from the Kapiti lead of Eileen.
So that means the Wanganui team go out to a 6-0 lead at this stage, having done 2 completed ends.
Yeah, very early stages. A 6-point lead certainly gives you a good mental advantage going into a game like this. But of course, at this level, 6 points isn't really a lot. You especially at this early stage, you can break it down to a couple of threes or 3-2s. You know, you can build up that deficit pretty quickly if you're playing good bowls in the head in the area.
I agree, Brendan. These are representative players from their respective provinces, and they've been chosen to do a job, so they are the best players in the province, and it should be a good close contest. At the moment, though, it's Wanganui clearly ahead 6 points to 0. It looks like they've shortened the end up this particular end, Brendan. It doesn't appear to be as far as it was previously, so they're trying a shorter end as the lead for Wanganui. Moana Mea puts down her first bowl.
Yeah, just a little bit shorter. Still what I'd consider to be a long length end, however. She's come in with a pretty good bowl here, just slightly obstructed by the players at the moment, but finishing 2 feet short perhaps. And I think again this is something that the players will find is you can give the green a little bit too much respect at times. You sort of get into the state of it being quite glassy and quite free, but when you're trying to play those finicky weights, it can be quite tricky. You can find yourself dropping short, and we'll certainly see that as the day progresses and the weather warms up and the green conditions start to change.
That's right, the green conditions do change as the day wears on, after people have walked back and forward across the rink and the sun is shining down through, and the green can speed up. And at the moment, Elaine Jones just went past the jack with her first delivery in the third end. Moana Mea yet again playing her second bowl. She's taken a pretty good arc heading towards the kitty.
Just looking to improve on the weight. Elaine seems to like it.
Well, her lead was very excited about that bowl. She was clapping it halfway down the rink. She knew it was on the right track, and encouraging her lead to keep up the effort.
Yeah, Eileen seems to have found her line, but just struggling a little bit with that weight. This one's probably going to make its way all the way through to the ditch, I believe. Yep. Just a bit of discipline, I think, coming into play when you're sort of looking to find that weight. You sort of trick yourself into putting on more than you perhaps need, but then you've also got to be very conscious of the fact that the green is playing quite fast as well.
So Moana Mea's third bowl tracks towards the kitty. Doesn't seem to have the length that she would have liked. It's slowing up, and she won't be pleased with that delivery. But currently they've got 2 shots. Wanganui 2 shots as we head into the third end. Elaine Jones is now going to try and get one a little bit closer than her first 2.
Looks to be better than her previous 2 attempts, but just going to cut under the hedge. You might get a bit of the jack on the way through, though. No. Possibly third. Yeah, definitely third shot. So not all bad.
No, it's not all bad, and there's plenty of room there for the opposing skips to get in there and draw the toucher and draw close to the jack. It'll be an Elaine Mimaris who will bowl first for the Wanganui team as the skip. It's a forehand delivery. And I think this may be heading towards, yes, it was heading toward the opponent's bowl, which unfortunately has given her quite a kick there and to go run out of bounds.
Yeah, you certainly saw that pretty early on, that it was on a tighter line. Of course, coming this way, as we mentioned before, it does hold up a little bit more, but it was pretty obvious to see she had a little bit of weight on, and I think perhaps she was trying to get under that bowl with a bit of weight. So just an unlucky result there. To
Doc Collins, this bowl coming in now looks as though it's a much better line and weight and length And yes, she has taken the shot off the Wanganui team. She'll be pleased with that effort.
That's a very well drawn shot indeed to get around that short bowl. And I mean, it is fairly short. It's probably a good 2.5, 3 metres short. So still plenty of room. But to get around that visually and draw a shot right on the back of the jack is a great bowl.
It's now the turn of the Wanganui skip to see if she can counter that shot.
Yeah, looking to follow it down on the forehand as well.
She was a study in concentration as she lined up that shot.
Oh, no, she's playing a bit tighter and up the middle. So, of course, she has got her own 2 bowls to use there. She doesn't want to risk taking them out of the head, though.
No, I thought that was kind of a risky shot. She played with a lot of weight, and she was trying to dislodge that cavity bowl close to the kitty.
I mean, I wasn't selected as a player, but, you know, personally, I'd be on the other hand. You've got your own bowl jack level there. You can sit off that. You've got options to come on to the bowl behind as well. Don't get me wrong, the open draw is always an option, but you've got 10 bowls to use there.
Another forehand delivery coming through from Elaine Mamaris, the skip for the Wanganui side.
A bit more green this time, a bit more of a drawing intent. Again, finding that short bowl of her lead, Moana.
Those short bowls create a problem, don't they, Brendan, when you're trying to get close to the kitty. If they're in the way, they can actually disrupt your line of vision, and then it doesn't become a good bowl. You whack into it, and all of a sudden it's out of bounds and it's moved over, slid across. And
yeah, especially when you're playing the type of shot that Elaine was sort of looking for, that shot shape of that narrow sort of up into the head shot. Those shorter bowls definitely can get in the way a lot more and tend to result in those big wicks that we've seen where the bowls sort of finish in no man's land. Dot with her final bowl at the end, just looking to draw another one. She's probably just not going to quite come back to counting, but fairly well weighted bowl.
so after the end of the third end in this women's pairs competition between Kapiti and Wanganui, Kapiti get their first points on the board. It is now Wanganui 6 and Kapiti 1.
And already you see there's been a slight change in the length. Kapiti have brought the mat up a good 2 or 3 metres from where Wanganui were placing it early on. And the jacks might just roll out a bit further than she was thinking, but you could tell she was definitely intending on playing a slightly shorter length jack. We've definitely got one either way though.
That's a good confidence boost, though, to get some points on the board early, and they were struggling in the first 2 ends, and now they have that solitary point, which will give their team confidence, as now they have set a different length, as their first bowler, Elaine Jones, is trying to make one count. It's close, but not as close as she would like.
Yeah, you're quite right, Kevin. That one shot there from Dot certainly would spark some confidence into the team and get their momentum going, and I think Eileen will be pretty disappointed in that first one. Whilst she has good weight, it hasn't really put any immediate pressure on the Wanganui lead.
I agree, Brendan. That first bowl is so important to get as close to the kitty as you can. It applies pressure on the opposition team directly, and if it's not anywhere near the jack, the second bowler for the opposition team then has that chance to, apply pressure to the opposition team.
And Moana's certainly capitalised on it. It's not going to be a toucher, but it's certainly a very good bowl. Just a foot or so short on a pretty good line too. So early advantage in the end in favour of the Wanganui side.
Elaine Jones favouring her forehand. She's gone on a pretty wide arc, but she's just not getting the finish she needs to come towards the jack, so that will stop maybe a couple metres or more.
Yeah, she's made a pretty good correction there. It's sort of, I think she's taken the right green as far as looking at a physical point, but perhaps she needs to think about, just maybe her position on the mat or her angle of attack through the early stages of her delivery. That bowl looked like it got very wide very quickly, and it just didn't allow the bowl to recover. So, yeah, the right green, but I think just the wrong angle coming into the head.
So that was the second bowl from Moana Mea in this, the fourth end. Just not being able to get underneath the opposing bowl from the Kapiti side. I'm sure she would have liked that to be a little bit closer. As we see the final bowl in this end from Elaine Jones coming down. Yes, it's under the bowl that she was trying to get in, and it's in a very good position, and it is currently the shot.
Yeah, just a nice little result off her own bowl there, as I mentioned before, you know, in a pretty good position to make that correction and draw the shot, and she's done that exactly, so very well played there by Eileen. Interesting decision now. Elaine's got Moana coming up the other hand. No doubt looking just to rest that bowl or come in under it.
I think she might be playing with a little bit of weight to try and convert the winning shot at the moment.
Looks to be pretty close.
It's heading on target, and it's going to be a nice little trail of the jack.
Just an unfortunate grab of the jack, so she's still one down, but good bowl nonetheless.
Yeah, certainly a good bowl.
Certainly given a couple of options now for Eleni. She can, you know, play up on the backhand if she wanted to, come under the head and set the bowl, or play a similar shot to how she had her lead play. So good forward thinking there from the Wanganui side. I think Dot's options, on the other hand, are quite limited. She's just really got to try and build ahead and get bowls in there and increase the count.
Yes, I agree, Brendan. Having bowls around the head are very important in any game of bowls, but especially when you've got three bowls, as the lead has and the skip has in pairs. The lead's a very important component, getting their bowls close, and at the moment, the Kapiti side have at least just the one shot.
Yeah, pretty smart decision there from Dot, looking just to come around the head, something behind. We know that Eleni's intending to play with not aggressive weight, but certainly over a draw. So not a bad decision from Dot just to put a sighter out around the back.
If Eleni Mimaris, as the skip of the Wanganui team, plays a similar bowl to the last one she played, you could expect her trying to just dislodge the Kapiti shot bowl at the moment, which means she'll be playing with a little bit of weight. She could trail the jack and give herself a chance to get two shots.
Yeah, looking like she's lining up on a forehand, so similar sort of shot to how she had her lead Moana play. Instantly you see very tight line, that aggressive runner, perhaps a bit more speed than I thought she was going to play too, Kevin.
She was definitely trying to dislodge the shot bowl of Elaine Jones, but it ducked under and travelled away to the ditch.
So Dot now no doubt will be looking to put another one in the head, try and increase the count after putting in a very good positional bowl with her first. Looks to be on a pretty good line, might just stop a little bit shy though. Yeah, unfortunate on this occasion, just fell into that metre short kind of area.
Do you think she's still persisting with a run shot, Brendan, here?
Yeah, she looks to be heavier. She's certainly taken, I think, a bit more green and a bit less weight. A better speed to play the shot on, I think, from you know, obviously experience on this green, but yeah, being able to execute it is quite difficult. I mean, as a male player, we tend to drive a lot more, and I think in this situation where, well, perhaps not now, she's taken her other bowl out, but you had 2 or 3 seconds, it probably would have been better just to go on the backhand and really look for that bowl. But now with Dot putting in a pretty close second, potentially, maybe we'll have to wait and see. Her options now are quite limited. She's really just got to draw a good close shot, I think. Trying to play aggressive is sort of just wasting a bowl.
She's been given directions by her lead to just come in and try and cut the count down, because her previous bowl did knock out one of her own, which could have been rested on and help her cause. I think she'll be a bit more cautious this bowl.
Yeah, certainly a bit more of a drawing intent, but looking to be just a little bit heavy, and that's the trap you can fall into sometimes when you're trying to play an aggressive bowl and then switch back to a drawing shot. Couldn't quite see the indication from Moana there, whether that was 1 or 2. Looks to just be the 1 though.
So as we complete 4 ends of this women's pairs match between Wanganui and Kapiti, it is Wanganui ahead by 6 points to 2.
Yeah, so Kapiti again, as you mentioned at the start of the previous end, just taking them over one at a time, trying to just keep that momentum, and if they can continue to do that, they'll close that deficit back, and it'll just continue to build their confidence as the game progresses.
Well, they've certainly decided to change the length of the head, and they've brought it up again into a shorter position, maybe a 3/4 length, which probably allows them to gain confidence in these early rounds before they perhaps look at adjusting the length of the head.
Yeah, well, it certainly worked for them last time, didn't it? You know, they caught Wanganui out a little bit. They didn't gain the early advantage of the leads, but certainly Dot had a better control of that shorter weight over the Wanganui skip. And a great start here from Eileen Jones.
Yeah, well, she seems to have found her mojo, so to speak, with this length. She's had a couple of very good shots in the last 2 ends when she shortened the length since they won the head. So she'll be pleased with that first delivery. Moana Mea trying now to match that. She's playing on the forehand.
She's certainly watching it. She likes it.
Just think it's going to run out a bit of steam there and just fall up a bit short.
Yeah, weight was pretty good, less than a foot, but just failing to make that final push back to the centre line. Pretty good bowl. You'd be happy with that as a starter. Looks to be very heavy on this occasion. I think she's got a little bit caught out by that shorter bowl of Moana and slightly overreacted to it. So bit of a throwaway bowl down the back of the head. It stayed on the rink, but
that's the beauty of pairs, though, Brendan, isn't it? You do have a third bowl to recover a mistake, and that second bowl was clearly far too heavy for what she was intending, but she does have an opportunity to get a third bowl into the head, and I'm sure she'll be working hard to make sure it's a better one in the second shot she delivered.
Yeah, pairs is certainly a unique format, I think. It's the only format where you really play with 3 bowls. Even in singles, you've got 4 bowls, but you really only play with 2 because you have your 2 lead bowls and your 2 skip bowls, for argument's sake. So triples is quite a unique format in that you get that extra bowl to sort of either correct your mistakes or build on the success you're having. So it's certainly...
So it's Elena Jones now with her third bowl.
Looks to have corrected her weight again, more on target. She might even take a piece of the cake here and hide this. No, it's just
very good bowl. Very good bowl from Elaine Jones. She certainly made the correction as we try to do in bowls when you make a mistake, and her third bowl has come up and given her team 2 valuable shots close to the kitty. Yeah, this the 5th end of the women's pairs this morning.
Yeah, so the direction from Elaine, just to improve on her on Moana's second shot there. She's jack level, so put another foot of weight on. If you draw in, you come behind the head, it doesn't really matter. You pick the jack up on the way through. Any bowl sort of jack high at this point is a pretty good result for Wanganui. She's a little bit high on her line. She wants to clear her own. Yeah, she's pushed her own up to jack level, so it's not all bad. But
no, certainly not all bad. She had those bowls on that forehand side that she could nudge up, and she did, but just not enough to actually take the 2 shots currently held by the Kapiti team.
Yeah, definitely the ideal position would have been one just behind the head, if not coming through and sitting on the shot bowls. So still a good result though, still plenty of options. The 2 Kapiti bowls are close enough together that had Alani wanted to play a big weight, she could take them both out quite comfortably. But again, that brings into the fact that there isn't that back bowl there, so perhaps a bit of setup first before we see some attacking.
Yeah, I imagine that might be the case. They may put a position bowl in behind the kitty in case the drive does come. So it's Dot Collis now to see if this will happen, or is she going to just go for another shot?
I mean, I don't think this bowl is particularly important, to be honest. Whether she draws another shot or whether she comes around behind the head, either way it's going to be a good bowl. And you see there just finishing a couple of feet behind the jack on a pretty good line too, so
Yeah,
definitely covering any weighted shot.
She's definitely played a position bowl, a type of position bowl in case the kitty could move. Eleni Mimaris, as the skip, is coming. She's coming on the backhand now, so she probably is coming down with a bit of weight to try and move those 2 shot bowls.
She looks like she's trying to strip the jack, which
Or,
she's
you know,
pretty
trail
close
the jag.
too. I tell you what, she's played a really good bowl there and had probably the worst possible luck. Just a slight bit more contact and that jack would have shot across for 2 or 3 shots. She's so unlucky with that result.
She certainly didn't miss by much, and she gave herself the chance to trail the jack to her own 3 bowls and or dislodge the 2 shots from the cavity side. So it was a well-chosen delivery, correct weight, just missed the kitty.
Difficult to tell from the indication from Eileen there to her skip, but Capity might be one down. Here, Dot now quite rightly coming up the other hand again. Any jack movement towards their own bowls is going to be a pretty good result. They've got their opposition bowls to sit through. Coming on a very good line here. Bit of a touch. Ooh. Sneaks through the head.
Yeah, well, that just tells you how much speed there is on the green, because she didn't touch that bowl by a lot, but it just ran past the head a good 2 metres. So she was trying to get the inside edge to bring through and add to the count, but not quite. But it was a good shot all the same.
So we see Eleni now trying to play a similar shot to her last. Looks to be on a pretty good line again, coming in well to the head. Oh, she's got the jack, but it's not gone in her favour. She's probably 3, maybe even 4 down. Oh no, only 2 is the indication. Her bowl might be a bit closer than it appears from our position. I think it's 2 shots to Capity at the moment. Yeah, so it looks like Eileen's bowl's finished somewhat jack level off to the side of the rink. Those 2 orange bowls there of Dots currently holding. But what it does mean for Eleni is that it's changed her shot, but it's given her quite a bit of space to draw. She's probably got at least 3 feet all round to draw a nice close shot. Dot coming on a pretty good line. She'll match Eleni's bowl.
Very
yeah, that's
good
a
bowl.
really good bowl.
Very good bowl, very controlled weight, nice arc. She's come through and she's given her side 3 shots currently. So it's now up to Eleni Mamaris to decide what strategy she will use. She's looking at possibly, from the directions of her lead, that maybe she might try a little bit of a runner shot.
Yeah, I don't think the runner's the smartest option on this occasion. You haven't got any position. You've only got those short bowls. You just need to draw and reduce the count, I think. If you play a really good one, you draw the shot yourself. No, but you're quite right. She's
Seems
insisted
to
on
be
that
quite a
tight
bit of
line.
speed on this bowl. She's coming through the portal. And yet again, a bowl on the delivery line just upset the rhythm there, which didn't allow her to get the shot that she was seeking.
Yeah, I have to say, very interesting shot choice, I think. Definitely had options, but I think the safer option would have been just to play the draw.
2 bowls have been taken out for the Capity team.
Three have been
Sorry,
taken
looks
out.
like there's 3. Are they
Could
going
be
to
a-
measure?
Could
Yes,
be a
they are.
long tape.
Good comeback from the Capity side there. They've got 3 on the mat at the moment as they're measuring for the 4th.
And if they do get that 4th, it'll close this game right up after 5 ends. Just the 3.
That was a good head for the Capity side to secure 3 points for their team. It's now put the score up to 6 points to 5 after 5 ends.
Yeah, it did come as the result of a misfortune from the Wanganui skip, but definitely Capity having that position there and that foresight to build on the head they'd built early on. So very well played head from the Capity ladies. And again, insisting on that shorter length. It's done them well thus far.
It certainly has, and as soon as they changed the length, they certainly got their mojo and have got themselves right back into the game after being down, I think 6-0 or 6 points to 2. They're now back to 6 points to 5, so they've only been 5 ends gone. It is an 18-end game, 2 3/4 hours. There's plenty of time for them to stamp some authority on this game if they continue playing with the short ends.
Yeah, and quite interesting, I've just noticed that Eileen's playing backhand around both ways, so sort of playing with the breeze coming towards the clubhouse and against it going away, so perhaps she's just finding that a little bit more comfortable. As I did mention earlier on in the broadcast, that ditch side, so to speak, can be a bit finicky going towards the clubhouse, so she's obviously found a good rhythm going backhand around, whereas Moana's certainly finding that breeze side and really playing it with good fruition so far.
So it's the turn of Eileen Jones to throw up her second bowl, and this the 6th end. She's watching it closely, and she's got a nice little trail of the jack. It's brought it back closer to her first bowl, so she'll be pleased with that effort.
Yeah, pretty good result there, to be fair, off a bit of a loose bowl. Really going to make Moana make a big correction now. If she does insist on playing that forehand side, she's going to need to take quite a bit of green to get out there and come back into the head. But direction from Eleni the skip to change hands, draw into the shot.
She appears to have a pretty good arc here. If it comes underneath her own bowl, which it does, it's coming towards the Kapiti Coast bowl, but it's just going to run a little bit deep.
Yeah,
and
just
as
a
you
metre
can
through,
see from the lead for the Kapiti side that they currently have 2 shots.
Shoulder lean perhaps indicating she's just a little bit narrow on this occasion, but looks like she might take another piece of the cake. She must be getting... Oh no, there's still a little bit of room before the boundary peg, so she's certainly getting out towards it though.
Elaine Jones will be very happy with those 3 deliveries on a shorter length. Currently holding, I believe, 2 shots. Perhaps only 1.
Yeah, that purple bowl now might be a bit more in play than perhaps it was previously. We're just looking to find out now from the players. They're having a bit of a chat to work out what the position is. I don't think it'll change the shot from Moana either way though. Still just looking to draw up that forehand, get something nice and close. Certainly the widest bowl we've seen so far on that hand. Those that are a bit more eagle-eyed would have noticed there's a bit of a gap between the television rink and the neighbouring rink. So there will be a little bit of no man's land, certainly as the day progresses on, where there's definitely going to be fewer bowls played. And you might sort of start to see it just get a little bit sticky as the bowls aren't being played out in that no man's land. So when you do throw those shots out, you need a little bit more weight, a little bit more effort just to make sure they get up there. And I think we've already seen on this occasion that bowl dropping short there from Moana, certainly unlike her so far to be that far short on this sort of shot.
A very good point, Brendan, that no man's land can actually make finding your line and weight quite tricky. And as we've found out already that some of these bowls haven't been coming back to the centre line or where they would be anticipating it to come to. So anyway, here we go with Doc Collins, and she's starting her as the skip of the Collis, of the Kapiti side. And her bowl was also rolled by. She had far too much weight on that one. You don't see it on the screen. That indicates it's nowhere close to the jack.
Yeah, I think it actually found its way through to the ditch. Perhaps she was trying to look to sit out the Wanganui bowl. It would have improved the count just by a couple of shots, but more so than improving the count, I think it would have put Wanganui under quite a bit of pressure. Certainly, at the moment, Kapiti seem to have the mental advantage scoring points into this game. So we just have some score updates handed to us from the back green. The men are playing out on the B green over the other side of the clubhouse as well. Obviously they'll switch over in the midday round, and we'll broadcast that later on. Wellington versus Kapiti at the moment. In the singles, Wellington leads 6-5. In the pairs, Kapiti leading 5-2 after 5 ends. And in the fours, it is 2-2 after 4. The Taranaki versus Wanganui match in the men's singles, Taranaki leads 9-8. The pairs, Taranaki is leading 6-2 after 6 ends. And the fours, Taranaki getting off to a very good start. They're leading 13-0 after 5 ends played over the Wanganui side. We'll quickly swap back over to the women's match on screen. Eileen playing a bit of weight here.
You see
Eleni, sorry.
Eleni Mamaris coming down with her final bowl of the 6th end for the Wanganui side, but she ran that bowl in the ditch. So now Doc Collis, sorry, it wasn't her final bowl, it was one bowl to go. He's on her second bowl. Rightio, we're back to the women's pairs, Wanganui versus Kapiti, and we need to apologise to the viewers that we were given the incorrect names for the pairs combination for the Kapiti side. We apologise for that. We were only going on the information we had, but it appears that the skip for the Kapiti side is Andrea Stevenson, and the lead for the Kapiti side is Diana McGill. We apologise for that. I hope that didn't cause any inconvenience, but we were only going on the names that we were given, and we apologise for that.
Yeah, it's the nature of the format, I guess, with the Intercentre, is you name a squad of 8 and you put your teams in. But of course, on the day that can all change, and even between rounds, the players can change as well. So, yeah, just a bit of unfortunate miscommunication there between the tournament organisers and the broadcast team up here.
So anyway, back to the bowls. We've just completed the 6th end, and the leads are starting to measure to decide who will take this particular end. They're going to measure all around the kitty for the bowls. That you can see the blue bowl being measured now, and they're going to compare that to the Kapiti Coast closest bowl. Probably go right around the kitty.
Yeah, certainly a bit of a circle around the bowls there.
And as they kick the bowls back, we'll soon find out who has the winning shot. It looks like Kapiti has taken that by 1 shot.
2, I believe. They've flipped over 7 on the board there. So, yeah, Kapiti certainly making that shorter length work for them. They've had pretty good momentum scoring now the last, 4 ends now.
Indeed, they have.
And, yeah, Wanganui, no doubt, at this point will be looking to get that score advantage back in their favour. See Diana there, the lead. Again, throwing that shorter length jack that has done them so well thus far.
Very focused in her delivery, looking right down the track, trying to get her line and weight correctly as she brings her bowl towards the centre line and the kitty. Just tracking beyond the kitty, but a reasonably good first bowl, only perhaps a metre or so beyond the kitty.
Yeah, found the centre line and come to a pretty good spot. Certainly a good bowl to build a head off.
Moana Mere's bowl appears to be making good progress heading towards the kitty. It's falling up a bit short.
Yeah, just over a foot. Wouldn't be unhappy with that as a start, though.
It's Audrey, not Andrea.
Audrey?
Yet again, we apologise in this commentary box. The skip for the Kapiti teat is Audrey Stevenson. Once again, apologies for that. So Moana Mere for the Wanganui side coming down with her forehand bowl.
Yeah, a bit heavy on this occasion. Going to come through and match the Kapiti side's bowls though, so a bit of position.
Perfect conditions for bowls this morning, Brendan. There's good sunshine, not an excessive amount of wind. Greens in perfect conditions.
Yeah, definitely this morning when the players were playing their trial ends, sort of 8:30, sort of 8:45. There were a few comments across the green. The sun strike from the rising sun over the valley. Obviously Paritutu sits down sort of not quite at sea level. We're probably only 3 or 4 metres above sea level here, but we have a big... I suppose, yeah, we are sort of sitting in a valley. We have quite a big hill sort of neighbouring both sides of the property. The sun was coming up over the hill this morning and there were some comments about sunstrike, but the sun's lifted up now. It's fairly right above us and it's certainly created pretty good conditions to play bowls in.
Good bowl coming through here now for the Wanganui side. It's going to get a slight toucher and yeah, that's put them to hold the shot currently.
Yeah, great.
This is the 7th end. There's 18 ends. We haven't reached the halfway point yet.
Yeah, great shot there and a high five between two Wanganui players. It's certainly the sort of shot they needed at this stage. They haven't scored for a few ends and that's certainly a nice tight bowl that's going to give them good opportunity now for Eleni to capitalise on that.
So we'll get it correct this time. It is Audrey Stevenson as the skip for the Kapiti Coast pairs team to deliver her first bowl in the 7th end. She's chosen the forehand.
Looks to be on a pretty good line. It's just going to be if she gets around that front purple bowl, she's going to give herself a really good chance.
Just pulling up short of the correct weight, but not too far away from the shot that's currently on the jack.
Hard to say, but it does appear to be second shot now, so cut the count down, giving herself some opportunities. So Eleni here on the backhand, playing with the breeze, just no doubt looking to be just jack high, matching those two rainbow coloured bowls.
And she also is going to be a little bit deep. She may be putting in a position bowl there, but it's going to run into the ditch, as you can see.
Yeah,
Just a little bit too much weight on that delivery.
Found her way back to the ditch. Any back bowl on this occasion is going to be pretty good for the Wanganui side, really, because no doubt Audrey's going to be looking to sort of either draw a shot cold or perhaps she can change onto the backhand and push that bowl through, run the jack back to her own two shots, especially if she gets another one behind here. certainly makes that backhand shot quite inviting. Oh, unlucky result there. Pushing Moana's Wanganui bowl back up onto the head. What it has created for herself, though, is that opportunity of that shot I mentioned. Now those two purple bowls are touching each other. Gives her an opportunity to play with a little bit of weight. Look to displace those two purple bowls. You can just about play any weight you like, really. Come up with a couple of feet, push the jack through, or be a bit more aggressive and sort of look to leave the jack where it is potentially, and take those two bowls out. I think.
Well, she was definitely trying to put a position bowl there, the Wanganui skipper, Elena Mimaris. But yet again, as you can see, because the two blue bowls are on the bank, she didn't quite get the weight right. They both went into the ditch.
Yep, and we see Audrey switching to that backhand side now. Coming down with a bit of intent. Looks like it's going to cut away onto her own. She could push something up here, though.
She certainly could.
That's a pretty good result, to be fair. That's potentially second shot, so...
Yeah, I think she'll be quite happy with that result, because she did actually play onto her own bowl, and it did move forward towards the two current shot bowls for the Wanganui side, so she'll be reasonably happy with that result. She's got one more bowl to play.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough shot here for Eleni. I think she's looking to draw it cold after throwing her first two in the ditch on a positional level. And you see there, not surprisingly, she's struggled to take that weight off and hasn't made any change to the head. So they'll take the one out for Wanganui. They've gained their advantage back. They're not going to put a measure on it. It's just the one. Brings the scores level after 7 ends played.
So what started out as a reasonably comfortable lead after 2 ends for the Wanganui side, Brendan, I think it got to 6 points to 0. Has now come up to a 7 points all game after 7 ends. So Kapiti right back into it, and Wanganui gaining that crucial shot on that end.
We've just noticed on the scoreboard it was actually 2 shots.
2 shots, okay. So Wanganui out to an 8 points to 7 lead.
Must have just been the angle we were sitting on. It just looked like she only had one finger up, but... So again, Wanganui straight away back to that fuller length, sorry, I should say. Jack on the 2 metre mark, or not far from it. The mat perhaps just one pace up from the 2 metre mark on the delivery end. So Moana now playing on this fuller length. No doubt will be looking to capitalise, get one nice and close, having to make that adjustment to the fuller length.
She's certainly given it more width though, Brendan, as you'd expect, as it now comes back towards the centre line.
Yeah, she's played a pretty nice bowl here. Tamara, can we get the camera down a little bit? So Diana, the Kapiti lead. Again, as you mentioned, having to make this adjustment. She looks to be pretty tight for this sort of length.
And she wouldn't have been happy with that delivery. She certainly had a bit of a wobble as it came off her hands, and it certainly cut narrow. So
yeah, it looks like it's going to find its way out of the rink boundary as well.
Yeah,
so
she wouldn't be happy with that delivery.
Especially not after playing so well in that shorter length. She's not been able to make that adjustment to the fuller length. So no doubt disappointed, looking to make that correction next time. A little bit narrower on this occasion for Moana. She'll get away with it. She's got... No, weight's not quite there either.
So Diana McGill, what can she do with her second delivery?
She's improved her line, but again, not quite finding the right green, I don't think. She's going to end up probably jack level, but 2 or 3 feet narrow. It will be the shot, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right. It will be the shot, if not the second shot. But crossing the centre line wasn't her intention.
And interestingly, Eleni having her lead change hands, playing up on the backhand side now. I still would have thought there was plenty of room to slip under that bowl. It wasn't. It is short, it is jack low, but not so far low that it would make a huge impact on the draw line. She's played a pretty good green here, I think, Moana. She's certainly got a better feel of the line and how the bowls are behaving.
I agree,
with the
Brendan.
draw.
It's nice width and nice weight. Excellent bowl.
Yeah, that's a really good bowl there from the Wanganui lead.
She'll be pleased with that, and so too is her skip. Seeing that bowl come down has put the pressure back onto the Kapiti team.
Yeah, again, she's improved her green, but I don't think she's got the weight this time. Oh, no, she's found her way to the head, but still just the one down. That is one of the good things about these multicoloured bowls, Kevin, is you can sort of tell pretty quickly with the weight. I sort of have played with them in the past as well, and you get to know fairly quickly just by watching them sort of how they behave. Different coloured bowls, some you can tell, some you can't, but when you've got multicolours, there's no hiding when you're short. And the worst part is when you are short, they stand out a lot more on the green, so people certainly see how far away you are. You need to be a very good player to play with loud bowls, so to speak.
A lot of concentration given in this delivery as she lines up a backhand shot.
Yeah, looked a bit tight out
Looks
of the
a
hand.
bit tight, yeah, looks very tight.
Didn't
and,
get it away cleanly on this occasion, and you can see the
certainly
result.
no weight there. No weight on that delivery. Just pulling up short. She'd be very disappointed with that as a skip. It's opened the door now for Audrey Stevenson as the skip of the Kapiti team to try and get another counter.
Yeah, just looking to promote the lead bowls of Diana there, just coming under the line and not quite making it with the weight either on her first attempt.
Steady and concentration now if she can make a correction. She's certainly got a bit more weight on that delivery as it came off her hands.
Yeah,
What's the line like, Brendan?
Yeah, the line looks to be just a little bit under. It's not really making a correction as such. It's just a bad bowl. We all play them, move on, play the next one. And I think she's perhaps probably overthought that one just a little bit too much. It's just run through. So to be the furthest back bowl on the, no, not quite the furthest back bowl on the green, but you know, it's sort of that tricky hand that we've talked about a few times now. That coming back away from the clubhouse, it does turn. It tricks you a little bit because when you're going up towards it, you've kind of got to be a little bit tighter. But coming down, especially on the fuller length.
This doesn't look too bad. She's going to get it
here. Just an unfortunate angle off that bowl.
If she'd have got that square, may well be a different result. But
yeah, there was potential to get 2 shots out of that if she played it right. But yeah, as I was saying, this backhand side, as we see it now, it really does turn coming away from the clubhouse. As we see, it looks to be pretty good. If she's got the weight right, this will be close. Getting a couple of claps as it's coming in. It's looking to be a very good bowl.
Very good bowl.
Dead toucher.
Nice little toucher of the jack, and you know, the lead was clipping, you know, when it was 5-10 metres away from arriving at the jack, but it just came onto the jack and just stopped perfectly.
Call it
Very
local
good shot.
knowledge, but as soon as she let it go, you could tell the line it was on. It was going to be very close if that weight was correct, and perfect on this occasion. Slightly tighter line here from Audrey. Bit of weight too, no doubt. Just looking to set the bowl. It's going to just cut under though.
She was after it. She was running at it. She was giving it a go.
Certainly came with good intentions to sit that bowl through and take a shot.
Yeah, she was looking to do that. It looked, as soon as it left her hand, she was looking to try and knock that out of the head. But as you can see, the Wanganui team there have picked up 2 shots, and they'll go out to a 10 points to 7 lead after the completion of 8 ends.
Yeah, so certainly the game's sort of leveling out a little bit now. Wanganui dominating that longer length end. You know, that's certainly a game of two lengths. Kapiti preferring that shorter, Wanganui playing the longer. So Wanganui now need to continue to capitalise similarly to how Kapiti did on that short length. If Wanganui can get 2 or 3 ends together here playing the longer length, take control back of this game, push that lead out that they had in the early stages.
Yeah, I think, Brendan, though, Wanganui have decided that we did okay on the short length. We started off with the longer ones, and we're competing okay against the Kapiti team on the short length, and so they've run probably a medium length on this end.
Yeah, mid length,
Mid-length, perhaps,
mid to long.
3/4,
Certainly, yeah. Jack's probably about 1.5 meters up off the mark. The mat looks like it's pretty similar position too, so perhaps a bit shorter than the previous end from Wanganui, but yeah, as you say, sort of slowly pulling it back into that sort of more mutual territory. Wanganui did play quite well on the short ends, to be fair, but I think Kapiti definitely had that advantage. Audrey there playing phenomenally well, drawing those key shots when it mattered. Great lead bowl from Diana coming in here. Be unlucky not to take a piece of it.
Yes, he certainly did. And that's given her team currently the shot. Very good lead bowl there coming through, and just a slight touch on the kitty. But good weight control and good nice arc.
Yeah, briefly considered changing hands there, but the bowl's finished, the Kapiti lead bowl's finished in such a position where Moana can stay on that same hand and not make too big of a correction to draw down onto the jack or the shot bowl. Just a little bit underweighted. Her line was really good on this occasion.
Yeah, just not quite getting the weight for that shot there. It was a
Similar
forehand
weight to her first. She's probably
forehand delivery, but she's fallen a bit short.
I mean, granted the jack has moved back a little bit. She's a good couple of metres short with her first 2 bowls, so no doubt that third bowl of hers will be looking to really get into the head and make it count. We see Diana here with her second coming behind. She's going to hold on to the green. Just something close to call.
Moana Mia on the forehand. Looks a good arc at this point as it comes towards the kitty. How's the weight? And just a little bit too strong.
It's going to find its way to the ditch, so
Once again into the ditch.
this is quite a loose end from the Wanganui lead. Certainly the worst she's had so
Ooh,
far.
yes,
She'll be
indeed.
fairly disappointed in that, especially considering that they were sort of trying to capitalise on that longer length. They've failed to do so on this occasion and really opened the door for Kapiti here as we see this third and final bowl for Diana running through the head as well. Potentially still second shot though, albeit a good 1.5 meters away.
Plenty of room to draw on there for the skips as they have a little chat with their lead as they cross over. Deciding what might be the best hand to play, I imagine, here, Brendan, because it's not, there's not too many bowls on the road. There's plenty able to be drawn.
Yeah, probably just some reassuring words there between the Wanganui players. You know, these things do happen. No one goes out to tend to play bad bowls, and we do have those moments of, you know, lack of concentration. So just, you know, keep your chin up and come back next time. And yeah, like you say, Kevin, I guess it just comes down to preference, really. It's a pretty open draw on both hands. So Eleni, with her first bowl, looking to play on the backhand. She obviously likes that side a little bit more. And we'll see what she can do.
Certainly encouragement from her lead.
Yeah, it's coming pretty well into the
She's
head.
watching it come forward onto the head.
Just needs to finish back to the centre line. The weight was pretty near perfect, to be fair. Just a subtle green adjustment, and that'll be right into the jack. does sort of force Audrey onto the other hand a little bit, making her play the more open side now. But she's played quite a few good bowls down on this side of the green, so it won't phase her at all. Pretty well green, coming into the head with good speed. It'll match the rainbow coloured bowl.
Excellent bowl from Audrey there.
That will be 2.
Certainly 2, and they're both over the head. Good position there.
It does build a little bit of a wall for Eleni if she did opt to play with perhaps a foot more weight than her previous bowl.
I think she could be lining up for a drive here, or something a little bit weighted shot.
Yeah, we've certainly seen she does like to play that sort of more running weight. And it does look to be coming down. No, it's actually pulled up short, Kevin. Very interesting result. Same again, skipper.
So it's Audrey Stevenson trying to add to the count, but no, she's fallen short too, which would be a disappointment for a skip to have her bowl short. What do they say? Skips always have to be up, Brendan, and on that occasion she was quite a bit short.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it's too early in the day, I think, for the green to be changing. Certainly unusual to be slowing at this time. You see Eleni short again on this occasion, so
both skips have fallen short by quite a considerable distance as well.
Yeah, the wind hasn't changed. It's quite interesting. The green shouldn't be changing that drastically at this stage of the day. Usually sort of around 11:30 we get sort of our peak sunlight here in Taranaki, and the green can sort of start to sweat just a little. This green tends to not sweat too much, but you certainly do notice as it dries out a little bit that the speed will perhaps drop half a second, perhaps. Nothing major, but certainly enough that you need to give it that little bit of extra effort. But
Audrey hasn't quite picked the line that occasion either. She was reasonably close to the weight, but just cut across the centre line, which no bowler likes to do too often.
yeah, quite an interesting end there, I think. The player's struggling to find that length, and you know, as we mentioned a bit earlier on, it was perhaps a bit shorter than what Wanganui had played previously and a bit longer than what Kapiti were playing, so neither team really suiting that length on this occasion. And
So it looks like Kapiti have picked up 2 shots there. So as we complete the 9th end, it is Wanganui ahead by 10 points to 9. Very close game, Brendan.
Yeah, it is, Kevin, and we see Kapiti now with the jack again, and they've probably opted to play a pretty similar length, to be fair, to the previous end. The mat's come up, not quite halfway up the allowed space to put the mat, but the jack right back, not quite on the tee, less than a foot off the tee. So, yeah, probably a pretty similar length, albeit in a different position to the previous end. What this will do, however, is bring the ditch a bit more into play when they let go those loose, heavier bowls. Whereas in the previous end, they stayed on the green. On this occasion, they will probably more than likely find the ditch. So, pretty good weighted bowl here from Moana with her first. Just ducks under the line, but again, nothing to be too upset about.
Diana McGill throwing down her first bowl.
Yeah, looks to be on
She's
a very
chosen the
good line.
backhand side. At this point in the delivery, it looks very good. Heading towards the kitty, but yet again, just going to be a little bit heavy. But she'll be reasonably happy with that, just over the 2 metre line where it finishes.
Yeah, it's a very good bowl from her after her first. It's a great correction. She's found pretty good weight, and she's kept that line nice and centred. Doesn't like that one.
No, let's see if the slap on the thigh is going to come up with a bad bowl. She's not
I
too
would
keen about
say
what she did there, but
must have been a rhythm, because she's come up with a pretty good bowl. I know myself, I get quite annoyed when my rhythm or the timing of my swing isn't quite correct, and you end up with some of the best results when you play the bad bowls.
yeah.
And I think that's what's happened on this occasion. She's come away with a pretty good result. Okay, it's not counting, but she's jack level and in a good position.
You made some good points there, Brendan, about the rhythm and timing, and you can actually find that you can be slightly off rhythm in a bowl but still get a good shot, and she just didn't appear to be happy with her delivery that time, but the result appeared as though it was not a bad shot.
Yeah, Diana there, a bit more green than her previous, just uses the inside edge of the purple bowl and finds herself holding two very tight shots there on the jack.
And both of those bowls behind the kitty, which is what everyone as a skip wants to see, because it allows the jack to be trailed back if at any stage and get a higher count. So very good bowls from the lead for her first two.
Yeah, definitely we see Moana now from the direction of her skip, looking to play that forehand side still, perhaps probably a foot or so more weight than her previous, with the intention of looking to really sit the rainbow coloured bowls. She's coming on a pretty good line. She's going to turn down into the head now. Might be just under the jack, but no, she's not got here.
She certainly had the right line. As you can see, it's formed, it's finished on the centre line, but just the weight was not quite as she would have liked. Still a very competitive bowl though, as the Kapiti team currently hold the two shots just behind the kitty.
Yeah,
Skips move forward now to make the decision on what they will play, as Audrey Stevenson is down there ready to play her first bowl.
and for the first time in this game, we've seen one of the skips stay up at the head. So Eleni will be looking to see where this bowl of Audrey's finishes and perhaps decide what hand she wants to play. Both options are pretty open to her at the moment. I wouldn't think she'd be wanting to get too aggressive on those two bowls. You'd perhaps want a tighter second or third shot on this occasion before you play anything too aggressive. We see Audrey's bowl there finishing on the centre line, probably about a metre behind the jack. Potentially a counter too, Kevin.
Yeah, it could well be a counter from this position in the commentary box. It's difficult to just judge the distance to the kitty, but yes, there's definitely two shots there and maybe three. So Eleni has had plenty of time to consider her options. She stayed down at the kitty end. Now she's walked up to deliver her bowl, having thought what shot she would deliver. It's up now to the execution. She's chosen the backhand, and it's looking right now as though it's in a good position to come towards the jack. As you can see, just sliding past slightly, but very, very good delivery. She thought that one out and just didn't quite get the result she wanted. But pretty good bowl all the same.
So Audrey now just looking to improve the weight on her first. If she can drop a foot, she'll definitely be in the count. Eleni's left her a good opportunity to do so. She's breaking nicely into the jack. She doesn't want to move the jack.
Very, very good bowl here, Brendan.
Yeah, very well controlled. She's taken the jack quite nicely. She was coming in on a bit of a, I don't know, she's looking just a little bit too aggressive to sort of spit that jack out to Eleni's bowl.
She timed that run to perfection, just playing up to the kitty, not beyond, and just touching it and giving her team now 3 clear shots.
And what it will do, no doubt, is change the intent from Wanganui. They'll be looking now to, although to be fair, probably a similar sort of shot would work. You can make a contact on that shot bowl and split the jack to your own. I don't know if it's going to be resting on the jack, but either way, playing that little bit of weight, she looks to be in the area. Second shot at least. That's a great result from Eleni.
Great result.
And what it does do, even more so now, is give her even better opportunity with her final bowl to make a number out of this. While the players go up to the head, I'll quickly try and read out the scoreboards from across the green to update the viewers, assuming my paperwork is correct on who's on what side of the board. So on rink 6, which is the rink adjacent to the television rink, we have the Peers game between Wanganui and Kapiti. Kapiti lead that game 9-4 after 8 ends played. In the singles, we have, sorry, the marker's just flipping over the scoreboard. Give me 2 seconds. 17-7 to the Wanganui side. Down in the Wellington versus Taranaki games, Taranaki trail Wellington in the 4s. The player just walked back in front of the scoreboard. 11-7. The Peers. I might get those scores and bring them back to you in a second because all the players are standing around the scoreboards.
Anyway, back to the live action here with the women's pairs. Wanganui ahead of Kapiti 10 points to 9 as the skip for the Wanganui team, Elani Mamaris, walks back to contemplate her shot. The Kapiti team clearly have the shot at the moment. The yellow bowl clearly the winning shot. She's had time to consider it. She's still making a decision here in consultation with her lead, but she's the sole judge of what shot to play. She is the skip of this pairs team. It's a backhand delivery.
Yeah, similar to her last, I think, Kevin, looking to sit that orange bowl, just place it slightly.
As it comes towards the...
It's on a very good line here.
All it has to do is touch that bowl
That's
and
a
move it, and
great
she has
shot.
done that. What a brilliant shot. She just moved the shot bowl and the conversion shot, slid across, and I think has gained herself now 2 shots.
I believe.
Very, very good delivery. Just did that conversion shot to perfection. She'd lined it up. She knew what she wanted to do, and she did it well.
So just quickly in the 4s, Wellington lead Taranaki 6 through... No, it's now 6 all after 7 ends played. Wellington beat Taranaki in the singles 25-2. And Wellington are leading the Peers 11-7 after 9 ends played.
So after that brilliant final bowl from the skip of the Wanganui team, Elani Mamaris, 2 shots were gained from that. That's given her team a lead of 12 points to 9 after 10 ends have been completed. Very good shot that, as you saw, Brendan, it came down, it just converted took the Kapiti shot out of the way and allowed them to get 2 very valuable shots.
Yeah, that's certainly the shot of the match so far, I think, Kevin. Very well controlled weight. It was quite easy to overplay that shot, I think, and she's played it with great control. Perfect line and got the ideal result out of that, so very well played. So again we see this sort of 3/4 length from the Wanganui side.
So as Diana McGill puts down her first bowl, and this the 10th end. It's not a bad delivery, Brendan, just slightly over the head, but it will be the current shot. It's only about a metre to the...
Yeah, a couple of feet I'd say, just coming to jack
left or
high.
right of the kitty.
Oh, this one's been thrown just out a little bit too far, I think. Won't recover coming towards the clubhouse. She's out. She'll get stuck out in that no man's land.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a loose delivery there.
Yeah,
Far
just
too wide, as you said, in the no man's land, and just never going to come back to the centre line.
easy enough done. Just a slight lapse in concentration and you find yourself drifting out there. See this bowl here from Diana, it's just sitting on the verge of the boundary of the green, so it does come back in a little, but it won't come all the way. So Moana, the Wanganui lead. After 2 fairly loose bowls, will be looking to make a correction. 2 down on the head currently. And again, Kevin, I think she's going to get caught out in that no man's land. She's found that wide, tighter line. It's not a straightener as such, but there's just a certain point where you get outside that boundary peg and it just doesn't come back. Mainly contributing to the breeze across the green and how it reflects back off the terraces we have here on the side that we're positioned at. Looks to be slightly heavier this time.
This one is holding its line well as Diana McGill brings her bowl down. Gets a slight touch on the kitty. It slides it possibly closer towards the Wanganui bowl.
Yeah, an unfortunate angle. Looks to be from where I'm sitting that Wanganui currently holds the shot. Eleni got the finger measures out and we're not going to get an indication.
Right, so Eleni Mamara's taking a couple of deep breaths there, trying to work out what shot she should play. She's got everything lined up. Backhand delivery coming forward.
Yeah, under the line on this occasion.
Yeah, look, clearly under. It's going to swing across the centre line. Not what she wanted.
Eleni, I think the last couple of ends coming this way, struggled to find her line. Just needs that one good bowl to regain her confidence, I think, in finding that line coming down this way.
I agree. It's very important in bowls to have confidence, and the good bowls you play certainly give you that, but any bad bowl just has to be flushed and you just move on and try and make the next one a better one. So Diana McGill coming down with her delivery just around the wing bowl there to settle down in a reasonably comfortable position above the head.
Yeah, caught that outside of the green, sat onto it nicely and just fell in behind the head. Should be pretty happy with that result. Eleni still contemplating the shot. She's just needing to find something. The head's getting pretty congested for a drawing line too on both sides. Those shorter bowls are going to be causing a little bit of chaos, trying to find, a clean draw into the head. Appears to be on a better line this time. She's given it a chance. Makes contact with her own bowl. She's come up. It's might be just shy, but if that purple bowl is counting, it's potentially...
I think potentially there's 2 shots there to the Wanganui side. She got a nice slide off that bowl and it ran in the right direction, and yeah, I think there's clearly 2 there. Audrey Stevenson is the skip. She's now tasked with the responsibility of trying to get the shot. Yeah, not a bad effort, but just gone slightly past and running towards the ditch.
Yeah, just over the weight on that occasion. Very good line, but an overweighted shot wouldn't hurt the Kapiti side. They've got the back bowls to use should they pick up the jack. Even if they slice the jack out to the left as the players see the head, they've got those rainbow coloured bowls out there that are going to convert them points.
That's correct, Brendan. I think she was playing with a little bit of weight to have that second option of maybe a trail of the jack, but just wasn't quite to be. Anyway, Ilana Mamaris as the skip of the Wanganui team. It's her chance now to add to the count. She's chosen the backhand. And I think she ended up striking a bowl which has given the shot to the Kapiti side.
Yeah, unfortunate result there. That was always the danger playing on that backhand side. You had the rainbow coloured bowler Diana there standing up. It was not going to take much to push into the head. Looks to be a little bit heavy again this time as Audrey, around the back of the head. Early indication was one down, but I think she's going to hesitate and measure that. You don't want to give away a shot. Oh, nope, she has given away the shot. So 1 to Capity.
So as we complete the 11th end of 18 ends in this game, it is the Wanganui side ahead by 12 points to 11. No, 10.
10.
12 points to 10. There was only one shot gained there from the Capity team, so it's 12 points to 10 after 11 ends. This is the women's pairs in the Intercentre regional playoffs being played here at the Paritutu Bowling Club in New Plymouth. A nice fine day as we have 3 games we are covering live this today. The second game will be the men's singles between Taranaki and Wellington, which will be after lunch. And then the final game this afternoon will be the men's fours between Wanganui and Wellington. So if you're interested in those games, stay tuned. We'll try and give you a coverage of those games as well.
Yeah, and obviously around the country we have various other events on across the country, the different regions playing. I believe there's only one region that isn't playing this weekend, which is the games that were scheduled to be hosted in the Hawke's Bay. But yeah, obviously this is going to be slightly different to what the initial plan was. This is the old format, so to speak, of the Intercentre, where the districts would play in their regions, or centres would play in their regions, sorry, and then progress to a national final. We moved away from that a couple of years ago, I think, to where all centres would attend one big event. I personally am in favour of that. I think you get to play some different people and meet some new people and test yourself against different sides. But for COVID purposes, keeping numbers down and running more manageable events under the current restrictions, Bowls New Zealand have decided to revert to the old format, which is, can only be a good thing, because at the end of the day we get to get out here and play bowls, and that's what it's all about. So it's good that we can be out here playing and representing our districts and competing for that national title.
2 good bowls were delivered by Diana McGill for the Capity side. She currently holds 2 shots for her team as Moana Mayer comes down with a slightly heavier delivery.
Yeah, Diana's certainly getting into her stride now. She's not nailing the jack, but what she is doing is she's putting bowls on the centre line, 1 foot, 2 foot behind, creating great opportunities for a skip to convert points. And it's certainly starting to show as the game's tightening up.
Yeah, very good point, Brendan. You're so right. And this is the 3rd bowl coming down, also in a good position. It's just in front of the kitty, but she's got 3 around the white jack, and that put pressure directly back to the Wanganui team now.
Yeah, and what it probably has done, just finishing just off that centre line under her line, is it's probably going to look at making the Wanganui think about what hand they're playing. She is going to insist upon playing that forehand. There is room to draw in there. There's bowls to sit, obviously. But as we've seen so far, the luck of the wicks probably haven't quite gone Wanganui's way. They've had a lot of bowls, wick out under the head or end up offside the green. Moana with her third and final bowl, again, just a little bit heavy.
I don't think she'll be happy with the delivery of those 3 bowls. Each of those 3 bowls are not within a metre of the jack, which is what all leads should be trying to do. And so currently the Capity team have a clear advantage as they hand over to their skips to either add, or in the case of the Wanganui team, they'll be trying to certainly get them a lot closer.
Yeah, to make matters worse for the Wanganui side on this occasion, Diana's played 3 outstanding bowls, so whereas perhaps 1 loose bowl doesn't look so bad, when your opposition's got 3 right on it, it really makes the skip have to work hard.
Very good point, Brendan. Exactly right. As Audrey Stevenson comes down with her yellow bowls and adds to the count, she had the opportunity, and now it's 4.
Yeah, picking
4
up where the
bowls
lead's
clearly
picking up.
ahead to the Kapiti team. It's up to Wanganui now to address that, and yeah, serious work needs to be done here. They need to get back into the game and cut that count down from 4 at least, or get a close shot.
Yeah, Audrey very much just picking up from where Diana left off, to be fair. You know, there's no immediate danger of anything too aggressive. You know, obviously the option of running the jack into the ditch is always present, but when you're 4 down, it's not always the smartest shot to attempt. So no doubt from Eleni here, we'll just see an effort to get something in the head to start with. Following the Kapiti players down on the backhand. She's played some pretty big bowls coming up this way on the backhand thus far. Looks to be well greened. Pretty
Yes,
well
it
weighted
certainly
too.
does. This is going to be a very good bowl. She's actually delivered. No, just
She
rolling
slipped
past.
past the jack.
It looked like it just could be the saviour that she needed.
And she's just slipped past the bowls as well. She hasn't been able to catch an edge on the bowl to sit there for potentially first or second shot. So certainly gives her some promise moving into the
Well, she was
next
4
two.
down, and now just the 2 down. So that was a good delivery and a good result to cut the score back to just the 2 at the moment.
Interesting bowl that. It looked to be on a pretty good line, but it really hooked away at the end there. The weight was good. Certainly something a bit unusual happened there, I think.
Delaney choosing yet again to come on the backhand. The last delivery was very good. Can she repeat or get close to getting the jack and just trailing it back to her own bowl this time? And she has.
Yeah, great
she has
result
done
there
that. A
from
great
Eleni.
result. She just got the side of the kitty and got the result she was after, just moving it slightly across to her own previous bowl. Wanganui now have 2 shots.
And that's 2 ends in a row now coming away from the clubhouse. She's played key shots coming up on the backhand side, converting some pretty sticky situations into a multiple scoring opportunity for the Wanganui side.
No, that was a very good skipper's bowl there, and she should be very proud for her team for that. Those 2 bowls she delivered.
And you certainly feel too with how, you know, perhaps she hasn't quite been playing as strongly going towards the clubhouse, that, you know, they're really looking at these ends where they are playing quite well this way to really want to capitalise on scoring, and, you know, then they can sort of start to be a bit more accepting of dropping perhaps one coming the other way.
I think you'll find Ilani Mamaris now will probably try and play for a position bowl, because there was a little bit of weight from the Audrey Stevenson's bowls coming down then to try and clip the 2 bowls on the side. So look for a position bowl from Ilani Mamaris as their skip. They're currently holding 2 shots.
Yeah, it's the last bowl of the end, so she's just probably looking to draw another one. She looks to be just a little bit over the weight. The line was incredible. Yeah, unfortunate there that she's just played slightly over, so she'll take 2. Wanganui will extend their lead, 14-10 after 12 ends played now. Just got an update from the men's green in the Wellington versus Kapiti round. We have 19-10 in the singles in favour of Wellington. The pairs 11-9 played 11 ends in favour of Wellington, and in the fours Wellington lead 6-4 after 9 ends played. So Wellington in control of that one at this stage. Taranaki versus Wanganui. In the singles, Wanganui leads 19-15. The pairs, after 13 ends, Taranaki lead 10-9. Nice close game there. And in the fours, Taranaki lead 16-3 after 9 ends played. Still plenty of bowls to be played though, of course. 18 ends in the pairs, 15 in the fours, and 25 shots in the singles. So plenty to go yet. So Diana, the Kapiti lead, rethrows the jack. Yeah, a slightly fuller length end. I'd have thought Capity, given the opportunity to take the jack, would have played it a bit shorter.
Yeah, they brought the mat up a little bit, but the kitty is on the 2 metre mark, so it's the length they've chosen for this particular end, the 13th end of this women's pairs event.
And that's a pretty good start from Moana. You know, we've mentioned a couple of times now that Wanganui perhaps have not quite played as good coming this way, so that'll no doubt fill her up with confidence, playing a good opening bowl back towards the clubhouse.
Yes, it was a very good bowl as Diana McGill now begins her first delivery into this jack, and as you can see, it's just going to run past.
Yeah, very well weighted.
She will need to look carefully at how she will correct that for her second bowl. Moana Mia now with her second delivery, taking a nice wide arc. Kitty is on the 2 metre line, so she's chosen to go a little bit wider with her bowl and a nice little position bowl behind the kitty. Forehand being chosen also by Diana McGill, lead for the Capity team.
Yeah, good correction.
This looks a pretty good bowl coming through here, Brendan. It's going to just come up to the kitty. Very good bowl there. Well done, Diana.
Just missed out on getting that toucher, but a good bowl right in front of the jack. Gives herself a good opportunity, takes a bit of the pressure off for her third and final bowl of the end. Moana now probably not looking to change too much from her previous shot. If she improves on her last and sat inside her own, she'd probably have a good chance of drawing one here. Looks to be coming on a pretty good line again. How's her weight?
Nicely weighted here.
That's a great effort.
Just going to touch the shot bowl, but just not enough to move it and therefore move the kitty onto the Wanganui bowl, but a good delivery all the same.
And important for the Wanganui side too is they've got two good bowls just behind the jack, so it does give the skip a couple of options. You know, she likes to play that little overweighted draw shot we've seen already in the early stages of the game, so no doubt would expect to see something fairly similar from her this end as well.
Diana McGill trying there to perhaps cover the two Wanganui bowls in case the plant does come, as you said, on that front bowl, which will move the kitty back. Trying to just get a position in there as well as getting another close counter.
Yeah, it doesn't appear it on camera, but looking at it over the screen on the green, it actually looks to be in a pretty good position should the jack cut out that way. So really good result there from the Capity lead. So the skips have made their way to the delivery end, and Eleni the first to play. As we mentioned, no doubt looking to displace that shot bowl. Well, this is interesting. She's on the backhand, so looking to play her own bowl through the shot bowl. Coming on a pretty good line too, just a touch wide. Sits the back bowl of Moana from her lead. Still a very good result. Replaces it and gives herself another bowl further back in the head. And what that's doing is allowing her to perhaps, you know, should she choose, to play a little bit more weight.
Audrey Stevenson, on the other hand, also coming on her backhand. Currently holding shot with their lead Diana McGill's first bowl, putting a nice little position bowl in there in case the jack does move. If they do get a plant, as we said earlier,
Yeah,
Brendan, it could move somewhere back into that grouping of bowls.
And that's a great positional bowl because it really splits that triangle, that scoring triangle that Wanganui have created back there quite nicely.
We haven't had the need for any umpiring results where an umpire goes along and measures the, the bowls in this particular game. But the umpires for today's tournament are David Brunton and Betty Brunton, and they love doing that job. And it's just a shout out to you guys, and thank you very much for offering to be umpires for today's Intercentre regional competition.
Yeah, so David and Betty, locally, they run the Taranaki Umpires Association. David, the president, and I believe Betty may be the secretary. Don't quote me on that, but certainly is involved. They're certainly both involved in running the umpires and coordinating where we all go, and certainly two of the best when it comes to looking after these big key events here in Taranaki. Always prepared to volunteer their time. I believe that Betty would do the women and David are doing the men. I can't actually see either of them on the green at the moment.
I don't think there has been a need for an umpire to be called onto the rink, so
No.
it was just giving a shout out to both of them because they do love their craft, and they encourage people to become umpires and trying to get new umpires involved in the game. And we need umpires when the two teams cannot decide on who has won that particular shot, and it's a selfless job. They give up their time to be there and help if required. So far they haven't been needed, as Ilani Mimaris, as the skip for the Wanganui team, plays her final bowl this end. Rather conservative bowl, but I thought she may well have been trying to get a plant to move it back to her own bowls, but not to be.
Yeah, certainly interesting. She's not been afraid to play those little trail shots and those little push bowls thus far, so sort of to be on a drawing weight was quite surprising. You see Audrey looking to sit that blue bowl out. Could risk the
Pretty
jack
good.
here.
Oh, not
she's
quite.
Come away with a pretty good result. It could be worth the measure for two now.
Could well be. There's certainly one there as they take the bowl out of the head. Looking closely now at the situation.
Looks pretty close from up here. Got a pretty good angle from our commentary position. They are going to measure it. Just to go back on that umpire thing quickly, if you are watching in Taranaki and you are interested in becoming an umpire, I do happen to know that the training course for umpires is coming up very shortly. I believe that registrations for the training close at the end of the month. Again, don't quote me on that, but I know it's coming up pretty soon. So if you are interested in becoming an umpire, talk to your club secretary or get in contact with Betty Brunton, because Taranaki are training new umpires very shortly.
And that was a good result for the Kapiti Coast team there. They gained 2 shots. They measured the second shot, which was just ahead of the Wanganui Players' Bowl. So after 13 ends have been completed of this 18 ends women's pairs competition, it is Wanganui 14, Kapiti Coast 12.
Yeah, certainly good to have a nice close match too. What started out to look like it was going to be pretty one-sided. Both teams have sort of had their moments where they've found their groove, and we've had little ups and downs, and that's resulted in a nice even scoreboard. Kapiti again throwing that 3/4 length jack, bringing the mat up, having the jack on the 2 metre.
Playing away from the clubhouse, as we said earlier, and so Diana McGill, her first bowl just coming up a little bit short, probably a couple of metres.
Yeah, looks to be on a tighter line here, Miss Moana, but seems to be holding quite well.
I think it's holding very well. Yeah. You can see in the shadows the lead, or beg your pardon, the skip, giving the high fives clap to herself.
Yeah, that bowl held up quite nicely, considering the line she'd been taking previously coming this way was probably a good 3 or 4 feet outside that. So whether the green is starting to sort of tighten up a little bit, or she's just got a little bit lucky with a dying breeze, she's come away with a very good starting bowl there and put the pressure back on Diana, the Capity lead.
Good
Well,
arc
looks to
coming
have
towards
responded.
towards the kitty here, I believe. It's going to be right on the jack, or very close to it. Excellent goal from Diana McGill there for Capity.
Yeah, that's a great
She's
reply.
taken the initiative away from the Wanganui side. They clearly have the shot now as Moana Mia looks to deliver her second bowl.
What I do like about this Wanganui side is that they're very well disciplined in playing their hand. You know, quite often you see, particularly with junior bowlers, just to give you an example, is they'll see a shot like that from Diane and they'll instantly want to change their hand. But, you know, long term, it's not always the shot to play. The score only gets counted at the end of the, you know, at the end of all the bowls. You know, everyone tries to look for the shot straight away, but putting in that positional bowl, giving your team a chance, and that's what I've really admired from Wanganui is they've not gone chasing shots for every bowl. They have actually looked to build heads. They might not have always converted them, but they've certainly been looking at how they can, you know, best optimise the scoreboard at the end of the end.
Very good point yet again, Brendan. You are trying to build ahead and leave the scoring options or the major scoring options to the skip to convert, to change the head, whatever, to add to the account. And the lead's job primarily is to get bowls around the head, position them so they have options.
And you see there from Eleni now that they've actually got that positional bowl in. She's actually called her lead to change her hand now and look to play that shot. So, whereas if she'd have played it with her previous bowl, she had no position.
Correct.
She's now got
Very
a
good
good
point.
opportunity to actually make the most of the shot. She's just playing a draw weight on a pretty good line too. It'll start to drop back down into the head. It's going to run through, but again, another good positional back bowl, and it creates another catcher for the skip to, you know, even further capitalise on the shot. So
It's always important having catches before you decide to have a small run shot, and those two bowls there are excellent examples of just positioning for maybe the skip to try something different later on, to try and move the jack towards them.
she's played a very well-disciplined weight there. You know, it's quite easy to sort of get a bit excited and have your bowl run through to the ditch, but by keeping a bowl on the green, what it's done is it's allowed her skip the option to either play a similar weight to herself and again build a wall of catches, or you know, should she want to now, she's got the option to go a little bit more aggressive, and she's got bowls in the area to sort of help her out get that lucky result, as you quite often find when you're playing bigger weight.
Audrey Stevenson's bowl here is coming down on a nice line. All she has to do is get underneath the one on the wing, which she has done, and just placed a nice bowl close to the kitty, giving her team 2 shots and a close one in the 3rd or 4th position.
And what that perhaps does too for Wanganui is it perhaps encourages them to actually be a little bit heavier, because you can't get away with just a subtle touch of the jack now. You're going to want to really move it a good 2 or 3 feet at least, I would think, to get back to either the bowl on the right as we see it on screen, or back to that final bowl of Moana, which is probably sitting about 2 or 3 feet behind the jack. So
No, you're so right, Brendan. That's a very good point, because it's going to have to be controlled weight now, otherwise it could turn sour. There's 2 good bowls close and behind the jack, and to move it to her own bowls requires a delicate touch, a bit of finesse shot, but also a bit of weight,
And
as you
again-
said, and you've got to be very careful.
But again, to Eleni's credit, she's played some outstanding bowls with that controlled weight on this hand. So, no doubt looking to replicate that success again. Perhaps a little bit underweighted, I think. Probably had a good line for the shot she was trying to play. Just missing the weight by a couple of feet on this occasion, and you see the bowl drop away just a little bit early, and it's probably looked a whole lot. It's going to look a whole lot worse than it actually is, to be fair. Audrey again.
Audrey Stevenson, on the other hand, will just be trying to add to the count, or maybe getting a position bowl in behind to match the Wanganui bowls. She has one now. She pushed that up. She's got that option covered. She'll be reasonably happy with the result of that bowl.
Yeah, whereas she just slipped under that rainbow-coloured bowl with her first shot, she's just collided into it. It's a team bowl, so it's quite safe to collide into, and it's pushed it into a very nice position. And her running bowl has replaced its on the head, so still gives them a good side to draw into. And another good back positional bowl. Eleni again on this occasion.
Yeah.
I would think she's probably got that a bit rough out of the hand, because that looks to be well short on this occasion. Fairly similar shot, I would think, Kevin, from Audrey here, just looking to build that back position.
I think so. I think she's got a good position around the head, and the more she can get just in behind there to cover herself if the bowl from Eleni Mamaj as the skip manages to move the jack. She's got it covered on one hand. She could perhaps try and cover it on the other, or take a risk and try and add to the count and then just hope that the jack doesn't move when the skip on the opposition team comes along for her shot. She's got some decisions to make, but I think the most obvious one would be to just try and add to the count, or perhaps just cover the wing bowl over here on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I mean, play for position, and worst case scenario, you draw an extra shot. It's sort of
True.
a win-win situation, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't think you should be playing with weight too much. Trailing the jack's not going to potentially lead to a negative result for her, depending how far it gets trailed, of course.
Yeah, I mean, there is potential that should she play just a little bit heavy and get a good clean split on the jack and shot bowl, she could make 4 of it. But, you know, at this stage of the game, it's not the sort of shot you're looking for. You know, if you're going to look at moving the jack, you draw it cold and tap it for maybe 3. Trying to chase a 4, just not really worth it at this stage.
Well, they've certainly had a long discussion, both Diana McGill and Audrey Stevenson, as to what shot should be played now. The skip has the final choice, but they have discussed it and come up with a consensus. And so here we go. Let's see what the shot will be.
Again, taking that big wide green, letting the bowl do the work, swing in. If she splits the orange and the purple, she'll have a good positional shot here. As she's done.
Reasonably safe bowl there, so not taking too many risks. She's probably holding at least 2 with a measure for 3.
You know, from my point of view, Kevin, I think the ideal shot for Wanganui here is just a nice, firm running shot straight up the centre line. Collide onto the rainbow bowl, take the jack through to the ditch. You've got 3 there should you get the jack clean enough. Of course, there is that risk of that short bowl, but you'd want to play the right kind of weight that your shot just swings around that.
Right, yeah, you've heard it from Brendan, what he thinks might be the case. Let's see if Eleni Mumaris has the same point of view.
Yep,
and can she deliver?
Watch her draw one cold.
Yeah. We're not sure what's in her head right now, but here we go.
Yeah, certainly looking at playing that tighter line, I was perhaps thinking a little bit more weight. That bowl's going to cut.
No, it's not going to get anywhere near it. Need to be far more weighted.
Yeah.
And certainly more extension of the arms. So we go at
So
the end of the
definitely
14th end. Looks like there's 2 shots, perhaps.
Yeah, I think 2 was the indication. She sort of went to kick that bowl away as if it was second shot.
So at the end of the 14th end, we have a 14-all scoreboard. Very close contest. There's 4 more ends to go. There's only 18 ends in this women's pairs event.
Yeah, the ends are running out fairly quickly, but thankfully it's a nice close score, so it's not like anybody's chasing points. We're just going to see some really quality bowls, I think, here for the last 4 ends, as these teams tussle it out and decide who's going to take the morning victory. Obviously, being the first round, we haven't got all the calculations, and you know the mathematicians aren't standing at the results board trying to work out too many points. At this stage, it's just about putting W's in the
That's
column.
right. You've got to get those W's on the column in the first game, but just to the viewers who are watching, the points are 2 points for a win for each game played and 1 for a draw. And as Brendan has said, that if we get teams that have had 3 wins or so many over the course of the day, and you add them up and they're on an equal par, then there's countbacks and there's other ways they can decide the eventual winner. But the most important criteria right now is to get the wins on the board and do your best for your team. And so far, it's a 14-all ball game, Wanganui against Kapiti in this women's singles.
Yeah, no doubt we'll certainly see it a bit later on in the afternoon as the results start to matter. We reminisced on Thursday evening. We had the Taranaki men had a bit of a muster, and they reminisced on the 2015 National Intercentre where they needed 7 results to go their way to qualify, and miraculously all 7 results went their way. They qualified and went on to win the tournament. So anything can happen in a game of bowls, and to get 7 results go your way is quite impressive. So again, a pretty tight start from both players.
I'd have to say, it looks like the Wanganui team would have the shot at the moment.
Yeah,
from my calculation.
Certainly looks like the Wanganui bowl just being on the centre line, probably just under a foot away, whereas the bowl of Diana perhaps just over a foot away, but jack level. Just running through with their second dear Moana, but come to a fairly central position, just hanging on to the back of the green. We haven't seen too much aggression from these players in regards to, sending the jack back to the ditch or, any drastic changes of the head, so to speak. But, as we get down to the penultimate ends, with a tight scoreboard, there is potential for that still to come.
Very good bowl from Diana McGill there, just getting a little slide off her own bowl to put her in contention for the shot.
Yeah, appears to be just out of shot, but
running
good
her bowl
second.
up to the kitty, not trying to go beyond, even though the Wanganui player's bowl was behind the kitty. It could have been trailed, but she trusted her ability to just bowl up to the kitty, which she did. Got a nice little slide and has given her a good position bowl.
Yeah, what she's done is given herself 2 really nice second shots on both sides of the green. So, depending on where this bowl finishes, and it looks like it's just going to slip through again. Great opportunity there now for Audrey to perhaps play up the backhand. Just look to draw that purple bowl a roll and a half or so. It's quite a tight line, but you could draw just around those 2 rainbow-coloured bowls onto the purple.
You just got to trust your weight so that you don't trail the jack into the Wanganui bowl. That's all the Kapiti Coast skip Audrey Stevenson has to think about. I'm sure she's skilled enough to just bring it up to the kitty or close by and not run the risk of trailing the jack to the Wanganui bowl.
Yeah, she's definitely lining up on that backhand. That shot is definitely on. Even if she tapped the rainbow-coloured bowl down, the one closest to the jack is standing up. So just a little touch to knock it over would probably bring it right into the count. Looks to be just a little bit wide for the weight she's playing. Excuse me.
Yeah, I was quite surprised she actually played the backhand there, because I thought, she could have played the forehand just up to the kitty and therefore get in the line of the Wanganui skip, who'll be coming on the forehand now, and therefore make it a more difficult shot. But nevertheless, she's got an open hand now to draw in Eleni Vimaris. She plays down the forehand. She's got the opportunity to trail the jack back to her bowls.
Yeah, certainly for Eleni, the shot there is that little forehand trail. If she is able to capitalise and move that jack, it's going to make it a lot more difficult for Kapiti to create a scoring opportunity. But yeah, it looks like now Audrey's lining up on the other side. Didn't like that look.
She's going to try and block the opportunity for Eleni to come on the forehand. If she can place one just in front of the kitty, it's going to be a very difficult shot to trail the jack. But I don't know if she's got the right weight, but it is coming home well.
I think she's got the right weight. I think she might have just got caught on that line just a little bit too
long. Oh, great bowl. That certainly provides.
The shot now.
It's certainly the shot, but it also makes it difficult for the Wanganui skip.
I think we might start to see a bit more of that aggressive play coming in. You know, it's quite a comfortable trail shot there now. You've got all the back bowls in your favour. The shot's nice and close. There's no reason not to look to play to push something through. Coming well. She's looking like she might have the bowl here.
Looks good. Looks very good.
She's taken a bit of the jack. It could be, from where I sit, it looks like it might be pretty close between the purple and rainbow coloured bolt.
Yeah, they've decided it's a measure. They're not going to make a decision now. It'll be a measure.
Fairly similar shot to her last, though, I think, for Audrey. Just put an extra foot on it. She can, you know, use her own, coming off her own. She can give the rainbow coloured bowl a tap, or be a real classy player and draw in their cleans. So not too much of an adjustment from her previous bowl. Coming in a little bit tight, bit of contact. Yeah, unfortunate result. Definitely had options there. Yeah, and Alani, rightly so, taking the time to walk up and have a look at this head. It's quite tight for her, to be honest.
It is quite tight, and from the commentary box, it's uncertain as to who might have the shot.
The danger Alani faces, and quite rightly so why she's walked up, is that any shot she plays on the forehand, she risks turning in the Kapiti bowls. Both of those bowls on that side of the green are standing up. So it not going to take much to tap them and knock them in for shot. But on the other hand, playing the backhand on that slightly wider side, you've got that rainbow coloured wing bowl, which is pretty much right on that draw line, which makes it quite difficult to get in there.
Yeah, she has opposition bowls on both sides of the kitty, and it does make the decision what shot to play a little bit more challenging.
I mean, I can't quite tell from my angle, but if she could see the jack, there's probably a good opportunity to look for the jack on the backhand. And all those purple bowls are behind on that side. It's a bit of an out there shot, but
she may be seeking some advice from the coach, perhaps sitting on the sideline. She certainly has taken a chance to have a quick chat to that lady, but now she's made her mind up as to what shot to play.
And she is lining up on the backhand.
She looks like she could be looking for a trail, a run shot.
Certainly coming down with intent. Just going to come under the line though. That's really good speed for the shot that I was perhaps suggesting and that she was trying to play. Just found its way to the ditch. That's perfect weight for that sort of shot.
So it's measure time now. Is it the Wanganui bowl being measured now, or would it be the Kapiti bowl?
This is the Wanganui bowl they're measuring first.
They haven't called for an umpire, so they're quite prepared at this stage to have a crack at measuring it themselves first.
If it's as close as they perhaps suggested it was, I think this could go down to an umpire, scores level. Pretty key point in the game.
It certainly is. 14 all. 14 ends have been played.
No, quite comfortably one down. So one to the Wanganui side.
So the Wanganui side will go ahead now after the 15th end by 15 points to 14. 3 more ends to play in this 18 end game. Yeah, it looks like the Wanganui team have decided on a pretty much a full length, 2 metre to 2 metre length this time.
They have brought the mat up just slightly though, so not quite full. It's probably that sort of in between length again that, you know, the sides have sort of struggled a little bit more on. So You know, obviously they'll see to try and make that correction with their weight, and you know, if one side catches this length, it could be a number here.
Diana McGill is coming down on her backhand. Seems to be pretty well weighted, this bowl. Just going to roll past slightly, but very good starter. For the lead for the Kapiti team.
Good opening bowl there from Diana.
Yeah.
Again, not nailing it, but just in the area, and that's all you can really ask of your lead. It creates such good opportunities as a skip when your lead is in the area. Pretty good ball coming in here as well from Moana. Just gonna die. Doesn't quite trail out into the finish. It was looking like it was on a pretty good line there, but just missing the weight on this occasion. And again, we sort of see that sort of 3/4 length, just catching them out.
Mm. Yeah, you're so right, Brendan. It can, just to get your weight, the weight control. Another good bowl there from Diana McGill, applying the pressure to the Wanganui team. They're two good, comfortable bowls just over the head. But more weight, I think, was put on that bowl. You could tell that from her delivery. Let's see if it gets the desired result.
What she has done, though, is cut her green. And you'll see as the bowl comes through, it's going to run through the head and cut right across to the other side.
She certainly applied a bit more weight to the delivery action, as you could see that
from the see on the camera
from the live stream, but
could have even gone into the ditch. Yeah, it has gone into the ditch. So Diana playing her third and final bowl of the end. Again, walking up to the head, fairly well in control. She'll hold another 3 shots. Not for the first time.
Looks very well weighted coming towards the kitty.
Yeah, interestingly, that third bowl of hers finishing short again. It's fairly similar to some of the previous heads where she's held 3. 2 bowls, a couple of feet behind, one perhaps off centre, and then that short one that just gets in Wanganui's eye. You know, makes them think about their shot just that little bit more. Very good lead bowling there from Diana.
Skip's job now for the Wanganui team is to get in close, and there's plenty of opportunities to draw in there. And obviously with the Kapiti team, they're just going to try to add to the count as the bowls come down. We'll see how each team decides what shot to play.
Yeah, well, with Wanganui having no real positional bowls, nothing behind the head, you know, it really just gives Audrey all the opportunity to build a head here. Doesn't need to worry about covering anything, can just try and draw the jack. If she runs through, she creates position. So really good opportunity for Kapiti here at a key point in the game. This is very narrow from Eleni.
She was playing with weight though, Brendan, so she had something in mind, but it was far too narrow.
Yeah, I really couldn't actually suggest what she might have been playing for there.
I agree.
The only
it's
shot,
just a draw shot that we saw was possible.
The only shot that she could have potentially attempted was to sit through the short bowl, but statistically you'd just play the draw. It's a good couple of feet short. You've got plenty of room for a good player to draw a shot in there. Oh, a bit of a false start. So Audrey will reset and have another go. Interesting when that happens, you know, as a player, you have that sort of false start or you misstep and you hold on to your bowl. It can be quite difficult at times to refocus and play a good shot, but that's not the case on this occasion. Audrey falling perhaps a foot or two short, but still very much in the head. Now the discussion between the two Wanganui players, just to take that draw shot. They're definitely at least 4 down.
Yeah, there's no need to try a weighted shot here. It's just got to be up to the kitty. Just beyond maybe, but certainly not with the weight that came through in that last bowl. Just a case of getting her line right, getting full concentration, and focusing on execution. So as it comes down the track, we're past the halfway point. As it's coming towards the kitty, it looks like it could be a far better bowl than her first one.
Gets a little touch on that front bowl. She's going to have the shot here. That's a great result.
Great result from the Wanganui skip. She can be proud of that effort because the pressure was on. She thought the shot through in her head and delivered. What a great shot.
There's no reason here for Kapiti not to look to attack that bowl. They've got 4-second shots to it, and if they can play it out, it's going to give them a great advantage going into the final 2 ends of this game.
Most definitely, Brendan. 15-14, it's a close contest.
Straight away.
A very, very important bowl from the Wanganui skip.
Audrey charging up the green with weight. She's going to be unlucky to take her own out, but she will replace it in the count, albeit in a slightly different position. So the opportunity's still there for her. If she didn't like that line, she has also got the option to play the other way, take the jack, set the bowl through. So, you know, it might not be worth as many, but it's still a viable option at this stage. 2 or 3 shots difference at this point in the game is a pretty big lead considering how close the scoreboard's been.
That blue bowl, though, lends itself to be taken out, you know, with a just over draw weight conversion shot, you know, pushing it through perhaps, and they could go 4 down. So it's very good bowl from the Wanganui perspective. And how is the Kapiti team going to react to that? Are they going to let them have the one, or are they going to try to push it out?
Bit of discussion there between the two Wanganui players, and you see Moana looks to be indicating with her foot where she wants the bowl to be, but I would personally be a little bit more intent on trying to draw a second shot. Okay, you've got 1 point advantage on the board, you score 1 here, you go 2 up, but you know, there's that little orange bowl just short. You just drop under that, you score a counter. Just drop around it, you've got a really good position. Where Moana has her foot is basically not really going to do much.
No, she's going for the.
She's got weight to sit the back to, which wouldn't be a bad result. Yeah, it may have taken 1 out, possibly that short orange one. So 2 seconds perhaps. Still worth it, I think.
She's looking to give her skip the direction of playing perhaps on the forehand to run that ball out.
Yeah, definitely still worth looking to play that blue bowl through. The alternative shot, you know, is to play the backhand and try to trail the kitty back sort of to the left of their 2 bowls, where they could potentially lie 3. But, you know, by playing that hand, you risk slicing the jack out. You know, it could go the opposite way, which, again, wouldn't hurt. You're 1 down anyway.
Yeah, I think she's looking at both options. Could it be forehand or backhand? What is she more comfortable with? Where are those bowls out in the front?
I think
are they in your line?
I think the percentage shot is still the forehand. You get a little bit narrow, you can clip that rainbow bowl. It only needs probably a good 2 rolls, perhaps, to give it a good chance at counting. But if you're going to look at bringing that rainbow-coloured bowl into play, you're probably going to want a little bit less weight than what you played with the previous bowl.
Right, decision time. Audrey Stevenson.
And she's on the backhand.
She's chosen the backhand. Let's see what weight she delivers this bowl with. Or is she going for a straight draw?
No, she's got a bit of weight on. She's not going to get that hook that she's quite hoping for, though.
No. So that'll be 1 to the Wanganui side. That takes them ahead 16 points to 14. 16 ends have been completed. Just 2 more to go in this Intercentre women's peers match between Wanganui and Kapiti, played at the Paritutu Bowling Club on their beautiful A green and a nice warm end of summer's day. Very little wind, lots of sunshine and perfect conditions to play bowls, Brendan.
Yeah, it's a really nice day. It's not as hot as it has been perhaps the past few days this week. Bit more of a mild temperament, which is quite nice for the players. You know, we've had days this week that have been well up into the high 20s, whereas now it's quite nice. It's the sort of day where you put your sunscreen on, but it's not essential. You know, you're not standing out there sweating. So certainly ideal conditions for these players today to get out there and play their best bowls.
Right, as we start the 17th end, Wanganui got their noses in front just by 2 points. As the first bowl comes down from Moana Mea, their lead player, and she wouldn't be happy with that. That's fallen short by quite a bit.
Yeah, again you see her just flirting with that ditch hand, and again just not quite getting it right. You catch it just that little bit too much, and that's the result you find. I think in this instance now, for Moana, better to play a similar line to what Diana's doing. She's not drawing the jack, but she's just finishing just behind or just under jack, but with really good weight. You see on this occasion she's picked it up. You know, she's under the line, but she's played a really nice bowl. And
oh, she certainly has. She had to come under the Wanganui bowl, and she did that well. Just trailing the jack slightly, but good position. Good bowl for the lead to have played.
She's definitely, I think, got a better grasp of controlling the line of her bowl. She's played, yeah, like I say, she hasn't played perfectly greened bowls all the time, but she's had them near enough, and it's created so many opportunities for Kapiti. But I think Elaine's played some great bowls at skip for Wanganui, just to convert those points at key moments that have just given them the edge coming into these final stages of the game.
Diana McGill yet again on the forehand.
Aiming straight for that purple bowl. Starts to break.
Coming under the purple bowl. And it's going to land in a very good position beside her previous one.
Yeah, just slipped through a little bit heavy, but again, great line. This is a better green bowl from Moana. She'll be very unlucky to catch her own here. Oh, and she has too, but she's given it enough weight to actually bring it up near enough jack level. It will be the shot.
Certainly will be the shot, I believe. It was on its running edge when it came running forward, so it didn't just have to bounce up sitting on its belly. So yes, it's probably the shot bowl now, Brendan. Just to the just off the centre of the kitty.
Yeah, Diana missing a green on this occasion. And that'll be dangerously close to finding the boundary peg, I would think. Those white chalk marks on the green there are indications for the players for where we'd recommend they stand to stay out of the head for the camera, but they're probably only a couple of feet off the boundary line, so they haven't had a look at it, so it must be a bit further in than it appears.
Right, it's the skip's turn now to stamp their authority on this game. It's a close match. It's 16 points to 14 to Wanganui. 2 ends to play. Plenty of opportunities. It's a wide open end, this one.
Yeah, and Elaine quite rightly playing on the backhand. That sort of, the breeze has actually died down to pretty much nothing now, to be fair. But, you know, not wanting to trail the jack towards the rainbow-coloured bowl. She's played a great shot here. This will be number 1.
Great shot there. Just short of the kitty, but
just misses out on getting the chalk as well.
Perfect line, and they've now got the 2 shots.
She's got the chalk.
Must have just scraped the kitty
Must
slightly.
have just scraped it. So Audrey looking to reset. Do you think we're going to start to see a bit of an attacking
I think
approach
she's,
here from
she's
Capity?
lining up for a drive or a run, I believe.
I think the way that the bowl is sitting on the jack, it's going to be pretty hard to trail it off. You really need to play the bowl more than playing the kitty, I think, on this occasion.
She certainly played with weight.
And with 2 ends to go, I think for Capity, you're not wanting to, like, okay, they're 2 down at the moment. They're not wanting to have to chase, 3 or 4 shots in the final end. They're really going to want to look to, even if she played a bit of weight, pop the jack off and then look to draw it with her last bowl. She sort of can't try and play a perfect shot with this bowl, if you know what I mean. Yeah, another bowl in the count there from Eleni Wanganui holding 3. Critical bowl here this now for Capity if they want to stand any chance of winning this game. Definitely coming down with a bit more intent.
Yes.
Looks to be on a pretty good line. It's breaking well.
Breaking towards kitty.
Oh, that's a
She
great
got a
result.
nice little touch on the kitty, which has moved it out across to where...
They'll check the line.
They'll
It's
have
hard
to check whether it's out of bounds.
tell from that camera angle. If it is in, Wanganui are lying 1.
It looks like they might be going to pick
No,
this
they're
up.
going to pick it up. That's a kill.
Kill end.
Pretty good result there, I think, from Capity. They were in a bit of a sticky situation. And a really nice bowl there from Audrey. Gives them a really good chance. I think had she not got that shot, and Wanganui scored 3, potentially 4 with Eleni's final bowl, could have been all over going into the last end.
Well, it gives them time for a breather now to just resettle and reset and get the focus back. She killed the end. It's still 16-14 and still 2 ends to play.
Yeah, 2 ends with 2 ends to go is 2 points with 2 ends to go. Sorry, isn't that daunting? But certainly dropping a number on that previous end would have been quite disastrous, given going into the final end with quite a deficit to catch up.
It's been a good contest, though, Brendan, hasn't it? It's been toing and froing between both teams. A good start from Wanganui, and then Capity came back in it, and since then it's just been toing and froing as they've gone through the end. So whoever wins this game could come down to the last 2 ends. Obviously, it's pretty close, 16-14, and how they focus on these 2 ends are going to be very crucial.
Yeah, I'd certainly say Capity's probably had the edge over the leads overall. Probably won more ends than they've lost in the lead battle. And the skips have been fairly even, I think. Eleni's played some big bowls, converted some pretty big heads.
Yeah, she certainly has.
And that's kept Wanganui in front in this game. Whereas on the other hand, Audrey, has kind of just been adding to what's been there, or having to draw 1, never having to play anything too big, obviously with the exception of that last kill. So
fair point.
It's been a fairly evenly matched game from the skips, I think, and that's obviously being reflected in the scoreboard.
As we get down to the business end of this competition, 18 ends, 16 completed. It's focus, concentration, and the will to win is going to be important in these final 2 ends. Which team will do it?
So we look across the green, some of the other games are starting to finish up now, so we'll see if we can get you those results. Otherwise, they will be up on the Bowls New Zealand website. And I believe Bowls Taranaki are running a spreadsheet on their Facebook page as well that you can access the link to, and that has all the results updated on that page as well.
Yeah, good bowl coming here from Diane McGill. We're going to take the kitty and trail it just a foot perhaps, and clearly the shot is with the Capity team at the moment.
Yeah, and importantly, she stayed with the kitty on this occasion. She's taken it further away from the Wanganui bowl. Again, sort of choking their chances so much, or limiting their chances to create a number. certainly for Capity, I think it's important they score at least one on this end. You know, you can score a 2 on the final end, but I think trying to chase a 3 or 4 is, given how close the game has been, I think is going to be a very big ask. Bit of a weighted shot here. It's going to run through. It'll find its way out to the outside of the rink. I don't think it'll stay alive.
Capity clearly in the box position at the moment with the shot. Is Diana McGill runs down her third shot. Third and final shot as a lead player in the 17th end.
And coming really well down again here too. Nice and tight.
Very, very good
bowl. Well drawn shot.
Yeah, keeping the pressure on the Wanganui team now. Eleni Mimaris, it's up to her now to try and convert, to try and get some shots in there. They're 2 down on the scoreboard here at the moment on this end. It's 16-14 match position to Wanganui Capity, but Capity have 2 shots currently, and depending how their skips play, we'll see how this end pans out.
You know, and again, it's a very good positional bowl there from Diana. You know, you saw how close she was to that purple bowl with her line. She's finished under the head. There's not going to be any bowls coming down the backhand, you would think, that would be on the right-hand side of the jack as we see it on screen. So she's come to a very good position there to allow her skip to, you know, to build. Wanganui have quite a tough shot should they choose to play the forehand, trying to get under the shot bowl to trail the jack. Eleni here opting to be on the backhand, just looking to draw the shot. But again, you know, not wanting to risk trailing it because Diana's put in such a great positional bowl behind the head. Looks to be coming pretty well. Might get a sit on the shot here. No, just
out of it, across the centre line.
So, still 2 down. Excuse me. Thought about having a walk, but obviously been told she's still 2 down. She's happy with that result. Well, probably not happy with that result, but she's confident she knows what the position on the head is now.
So Audrey Stevenson is skipper of the Capity Coast team. Her first bowl on the 17th end. She's choosing also the backhand as her hand to deliver from.
And she's going
rather
super wide. She's coming right around the back. So
yeah, she's coming deep position here.
That's quite an interesting shot.
Maybe that wasn't what she was intending to do, but she's certainly gone wide and close to the ditch.
And fallen into the ditch. Even if I don't think she was even trying to draw, say, to the 2 metre mark, for example. There was no real benefit in putting in a positional bowl that far through. You know, Wanganui have the scoreboard advantage, so I highly doubt they would look to play anything too aggressive. Even if they did drop a 2 here, they still have last bowl advantage going into the final end. So, you know, it's not a terrible result dropping 2 for Wanganui. This looks to be on a better line from Audrey. Just needs to slip under that purple. It doesn't look like it's going to, though. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, but they still hold the upper hand. They're still holding 2 shots.
If Audrey is trying to build the head and score a 3rd shot, I think it would have probably been easier, and still probably is, to be fair, to play on the other hand. You've only got to beat that blue bowl on the left of screen, which is, say, what, half a foot high of jack level. A lot less in the way. If you're tossing it right out there and giving it plenty of grass, you're not going to risk trailing the jack. You know, you're only trying to draw to that blue bowl. You ignore the jack completely.
Yeah, it's a fair point. You know, she chose the backhand, and she could just as easily have chosen the forehand and got a little nice plant on her own bowl. And you're right, got inside the blue bowl and given herself 3 shots. So it was quite an interesting selection. And in fact, her first 2 bowls, one in the ditch and the second one backhand short, confirms that, Brendan. So
you look now, Wanganui are discussing both hands as well. You can sort of see from how they're dragging the towel across the ground. But I think Wanganui, the shot is on the backhand. If you can just slip under that orange bowl, you're going to give yourself a good chance to draw the jack or just come under the jack, sit
I think
the bowl.
she's looking at that now. You can see her directing with the lead as to what she might be looking at under the yellow bowl.
Wanganui don't need to have the shot after this bowl. If they can get away with dropping one, they lead by one, they have the last bowl in the last end. They're in a really good position, If they drop a 2, scores a level, they've got the last bowl. Not as ideal, but, it's... Had they drop a 3 on the other hand, then it's a different story.
Right, she's put the bowl down.
And she's playing with a lot of...
And
intending to play with a lot of weight.
Once again...
She doesn't want to get her own bowl. This could be disastrous.
Not what I thought she might be trying to do, but... Yeah, she's afraid of getting wicks and losing more than 2 down, I think. But anyway, it's up now to Audrey. She can add to the count.
And you can see on
with
her
a
face,
nice controlled
she's not
delivery.
happy with that at all. So, coming in on a wider line, there is plenty of potential to draw in there. Come under that purple bowl and into the head, which is where she looks like she's coming. I'll tell you what, she gets a little feather on that. No, she didn't need it. She's got the blue. And that'll be 3 shots.
3 shots to Kapiti Coast.
We'll wait for the Wanganui player to confirm that.
Looks like there's 3 there. She's certainly taken out 1. Is she going to measure for the other 2?
She certainly won't want to be giving them away for free, that's for sure.
She is going to measure.
So the rest of the games on the green have now concluded. So those scores will be updated on the online form momentarily. We'll perhaps bring you a rundown of the score when we start our second broadcast.
She's measuring the Wanganui bowl first.
Yeah, well, generally you'd measure the Wanganui bowl against the 2 oppositions. That one's definitely in.
Appears to be.
And so's that one.
3.
So it's 3 to Kapiti. That's a really big end, the penultimate end of the game. Kapiti.
So after 17 ends, that's put the Kapiti Coast team now in the lead. 17 points to 16 as we approach the final end. Really close contest, this one, Brendan.
Yeah, definitely, Kevin. It's going to be quite interesting to see here. Obviously, we talked a little bit about before about having the last bowl on the end. I think Wanganui would have been much more comfortable had they only dropped 1 or 2, because not only do they have the last bowl, they actually need to score with it, and they need to score a couple. Scoring a couple can be quite difficult, especially with how Diane's been leading. It's not been close bowls. It's been in the area bowls.
Well, we've been going for 2.5 hours now. We started at 9 o'clock.
Just before 9 o'clock.
Just before 9 o'clock. It's now 11:30, so 2.5 hours have gone by. 2 3/4 is the limit, or 18 ends, whichever comes first. We're on the final end. Kapiti ahead 17-16. She's all on, folks. And remember, there's 2 points for a win and 1 for a draw. And the combined scores over your singles, pairs and fours in your representative teams all count. So crucial end for this competition, this women's pairs in the Intercentre here being played at Paritutu Bowling Club. Let's see how it pans out.
Yeah, and a pretty routine start, I would describe, for Diana there and the Kapiti side. Again, just in the area. Something to build on. This is a longer end than they've played too. The mat's back a little bit further than it perhaps has been. The jack on the 2 metre mark. So one of the longest ones we've played in a while, and a pretty good opening bowl there from the Wanganui side. A couple of feet behind the jack.
Diane McGill throwing down her second bowl. And this the final end. And she's got a nice arc, and it's coming towards the kitty. Is it going to finish? Yes,
Yeah,
it's
very well
rolling
weighted
closer.
bowl.
Very, very good bowl.
Just on the side of Jack High.
Applying the heat to the Wanganui lead. Pressure is on now. How's this delivery coming down, Brendan?
Looks to be just a little bit tight and possibly just over the weight, but it's just a bit too overweight. It's going to find the ditch. Had she hung on there, it would have given her a good little positional bowl, but this is the risk you take when you start throwing the jack right back to the 2 metre mark, especially on a green this slick, is that, you know, it doesn't take much to put one in the ditch. And Diane coming down again. This one a little bit more weight than her previous two. It'll hang on to the green though, definitely. And she's given herself
Skip is happy with that result.
a great positional bowl.
Okay, so Moana Mea just taking a little bit more time over this bowl. It's her final bowl of the final end.
Yeah, a bit of thought to go into this one. She'll want to definitely give her skip something nice and close in the head. Remembering Wanganui needing to score 2 shots from this end. She's certainly improved on her last. It's coming down at a better speed.
No, but it's going to run
It
by
is
and it's going
gonna
to be
continue to
deep
run,
yet
though.
again. She just hasn't been able to catch that correct speed and line and length, especially at various stages throughout this competition this morning. Unfortunate, but Diana McGill has been able to do that a bit more often, I believe.
And I feel perhaps that maybe, you know, that's where Kapiti have done quite well, in that when the Wanganui side, specifically Moana at lead, has begun to feel comfortable with her weight, they've just changed it that little bit. And, you know, Kapiti have just adjusted to those differences in length just that little bit better.
So Audrey Stevenson is skip for the Kapiti team, currently in the lead, 17 points to 16 in the final end.
She's coming down on a bit of
She's
a
coming
wider
down with her
line.
first bowl now.
Breaking into the head nicely. It'll come back and match that purple bowl. Oh, just caught the shot bowl, but that's not a bad result. It's just going to push it a little bit closer. Potentially second shot itself. Hard to tell from our position.
Yeah, good result there because it did push that forward, and they're currently sitting on one at least, second shot for a measure.
I think there's an outside chance that that shorter rainbow-coloured bowl could be third shot too, to be honest. From our position in the commentary box.
I agree, Brendan. That's what I'm suggesting, that maybe it could be 2 shots at the moment for the Kapiti Coast team.
We hear the bell ringing in the background. It's not going to obviously have any impact on this game, being the final end. If it is killed, it will be replayed, of course. Coming down again, looks to be just a little bit heavy at the halfway mark. Oh, gets a great result.
Great result there. If that falls, it's certainly making it more competitive now. She's had her first bowl of skip, Eleni Mamaris.
Difficult to tell from this angle. We'll hope to get some sort of indication from the players. It looks like we could be one down. I think that it could have just been a play on the backhand finger point there. We're not quite sure.
Audrey Stevenson coming down on the forehand.
Again, playing
She's
with
got a
quite
bit of weight here. She's after it. She's running
got
at
the
it.
shot.
She's
That's
got
a
the shot
great
bowl out.
bowl.
It's a great bowl, that one.
Even if she'd had the jack in
Just
that
when it
instance.
was needed, Brendan, she got that shot bowl out, or at least it was the measure for the shot. And
Yeah,
that's
that's-
given her team a lot of confidence now in the last end, the last 2 bowls for the skips to play.
That's really critical, and what it does
Critical,
too
yes indeed.
is Eleni's only got 2 bowls left and they need to score 2. So, you know, whether she tries to play up the backhand and perhaps try and trail the jack to her own purple, which is risky given the angle it's on, or she's got to draw too cold, but Audrey's already shown that if she puts one close, she's going to get rid of it. So
That was a very, very good shot. Very, very good
great
shot
bowl.
in the context of the game and where we are in the last end. So it's Lenny Mamaris, the skipper of the Wanganui team. What can she do to rescue this situation? She's coming down with a bit of weight, but no, she's going to roll past.
Yeah, you see
She only has one more bowl left. It's 17-16 to Kapiti, and they're 2 down on the head.
And you see she's opting for that trail shot, trying to use the one bowl that Wanganui have on the head to try and make 2 of it. This bowl, I don't think particularly matters where it finishes, to be fair. The fate of this game is going to be decided by Elaine's final bowl.
Correct, Brendan, and it's a good bowl coming in. She's adding to the count. She's pushed her bowl close to the kitty.
Although, actually, to be fair, what that bowl has done, it's made the angle pretty hard to make 2 out of it. You can't trail it back now to make 2. You've got to draw the shot and play for the draw here.
Final bowl. Final bowl for Elani Mamaris in this game.
And of course, being a team's event, it's not just this result that matters. So the draw, a draw here could make a huge difference to the Wanganui ladies later on in the day.
Not only is the final bowl of Elani Mamaris as skip, but it's the final bowl of this
And she looks
women's
to be
pairs
heavy.
competition. As it comes down,
Yep, she is. She's going to run through.
it's going to run through.
So
You can tell by the crowd, or not so much the crowd, but the players as they shake hands now. The Kapiti team, with getting 2 bowls on the head there and getting 2 shots at the final end, have won this competition by 19 points to 16. Quick summary of the...
I think it might only be the one shot, but either way.
maybe it's just the one shot, 18-16, but clearly Kapiti ahead. Give us a quick summary of how you saw that game panning out, Brendan.
Yeah, well, I think, as I mentioned a bit earlier on, I think Diane led extremely well. She sort of had the Wanganui lead's number. Not nailing the jack by any means, but that wasn't important in the context of the game, because what she did do was create really good heads, gave her skip an opportunity to convert those points. But then on the other hand, we looked at Elaine. She played some outstanding bowls coming away from the clubhouse on that backhand side. Really kept Wanganui in it for the longest time. And I think ultimately the key difference here was how the players adjusted to the differences in length. And the game was really won with the jack, I think. Being able to throw a jack length and then nailing it with your lead bowls.
Well, thank you, Brendan. That's the first game of this live stream Intercentre regional competition played here at Paritutu Bowling Club in New Plymouth completed. A win to the Kapiti women's pairs over the Wanganui pairs, 18 points to 16. We'll be back after lunch to give you the men's singles competition between Taranaki and Wellington, and that, I think, is going to be a great clash because we have Darren Gooden against Seamus Curtin. So we're looking forward to that one, and we'll catch you later. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in about another hour's time.